Hi, do you know why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals early in our career? Well, what is IEEE Young Professionals and how can it help us? IEEE Young Professionals is an international community of enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers. Any IEEE member can be a young professional, and any member who received their first professional degree within the last 15 years is automatically considered a YP. Now, IEEE Young Professionals is
Recording in
bigger than you may
progress.
think. It is one community in 10 regions across 183 affinity groups and more than 120,000 members around the world. So, why should we engage with IEEE Young Professionals, you ask? It is a place to connect and network with other professionals, enrich our career and personal lives, and participate in social events and activities. We can participate in many professional networks such as IEEE Collaboratech, IEEE email account via Google Apps, and take part in local meetings and online
Hello, welcome. I would like to welcome everyone to IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals UpSkill 2021. We will begin shortly, so stay tuned.
enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers. Hi, do you know why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals early in our career? Well, what is IEEE Young Professionals and how can it help us? IEEE Young Professionals is an international community of enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers. Any IEEE member can be a young professional, and any member who received their first professional degree within the last 15 years is automatically considered a YP. Now, IEEE Young Professionals is bigger than you may think. It is one community in 10 regions across 183 affinity groups and more than 120,000 members around the world. So, why should we engage with IEEE Young Professionals, you ask? It is a place to connect and network with other professionals, enrich our career and personal lives, and participate in social events and activities. We can participate in many professional networks such as IEEE Collaboratech, IEEE email account via Google Apps, and take part in local meetings and online activities such as conferences and job fairs. We can also access the IEEE Center for Leadership Excellence for on-demand content. This really is an excellent resource to equip us with professional development skills. The benefits go on and on, particularly for young professionals early in our career as well as students. We can enhance our technical skills by accessing eBook Classics, IEEE Member Digital Library, Spectrum and Potential Magazine, IEEE Explore, conferences, and more. Look, the bottom line is this. We can participate in exciting local events and global webinars for topics such as assessing emotional intelligence, fundamentals for leadership and ethics, heroes networking for engineers, survival guide for scientific writing, conflict management, negotiation tactic, and others. For all these great reasons, engaging with IEEE Young Professionals may be one of the best decisions that we can make in our personal lives and professional career development. That is why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals. Hi, do you know why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals early in our career? Well, what is IEEE Young Professionals and how can it help us? IEEE Young Professionals is an international community of enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers. Any IEEE member can be a young professional, and any member who received their first professional degree within the last 15 years is automatically considered a YP. Now, IEEE Young Professionals is bigger than you may think. It is one community in 10 regions across 183 affinity groups and more than 120,000 members around the world. So, why should we engage with IEEE Young Professionals, you ask? It is a place to connect and network with other professionals, enrich our career and personal lives, and participate in social events and activities. We can participate in many professional networks such as IEEE Collaboratech, IEEE email account via Google Apps, and take part in local meetings and online activities such as conferences and job fairs. We can also access the IEEE Center for Leadership Excellence for on-demand content. The CLE is an excellent resource to equip us with professional development skills. The benefits go on and on, particularly for young professionals early in our career as well as students. We can enhance our technical skills by accessing ebook classics, IEEE member digital library, Spectrum and Potential magazine, IEEE Explore, conferences, and more. Look, the bottom line is this. We can participate in exciting local events and global webinars for topics such as assessing emotional intelligence, fundamentals for leadership and ethics, heroes networking for engineers, survival guide for scientific writing, conflict management, negotiation tactic, and others. For all these great reasons, engaging with IEEE Young Professionals may be one of the best decisions that we can make in our personal lives and professional career development. That is why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals.
Recording
more
in
than
progress.
120,000 members around the world. So why should we engage with IEEE Young Professionals, you ask? It is a place to connect and network with other professionals, enrich our career and personal lives, and participate in social events and activities. We can participate in many professional networks such as IEEE Collaboratech, IEEE email account via Google Apps, and take part in local meetings and online activities such as conferences and job fairs. We can also access the IEEE Center for Leadership Excellence for on-demand content. The CLE is an excellent resource to equip us with professional development skills. The benefits go on and on, particularly for young professionals early in our career as well as students. We can enhance our technical skills by accessing ebook classics, IEEE member digital library, Spectrum and Potential magazine, IEEE Explore, conferences, and more. Look, the bottom line is this. We can participate in exciting local events and global webinars for topics such as assessing emotional intelligence, fundamentals for leadership and ethics, heroes networking for engineers, survival guide for scientific writing, conflict management, negotiation tactic, and others. For all these great reasons, engaging with IEEE Young Professionals may be one of the best decisions that we can make in our personal lives and professional career development. That is why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals. Do you know why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals early in our career? Well, what is IEEE Young Professionals and how can it help us? IEEE Young Professionals is an international community of enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers. Any IEEE member can be a young professional, and any member who received their first professional degree within the last 15 years is automatically considered a YP. Now, IEEE Young Professionals is bigger than you may think. It is one community in 10 regions across 183 affinity groups and more than 120,000 members around the world. So, why should we engage with IEEE Young Professionals, you ask? It is a place to connect and network with other professionals, enrich our career and personal lives, and participate in social events and activities. We can participate in many professional networks such as IEEE Collaboratech, IEEE email account via Google Apps, and take part in local meetings and online activities such as conferences and job fairs. We can also access the IEEE Center for Leadership Excellence for on-demand content. This really is an excellent resource to equip us with professional development skills. The benefits go on and on, particularly for young professionals early in our career as well as students. We can enhance our technical skills by accessing ebook classics, IEEE member digital library, Spectrum and Potential magazine, IEEE Explore, conferences, and more. Look, the bottom line is this. We can participate in exciting local events and global webinars for topics such as assessing emotional intelligence, fundamentals for leadership and ethics, heroes networking for engineers, survival guide for scientific writing, conflict management, negotiation tactic, and others. For all these great reasons, engaging with IEEE Young Professionals may be one of the best decisions that we can make in our personal lives and professional career development. That is why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals.
Good afternoon, good evening, or perhaps good morning, depending on the country you are joining from with us today. Welcome to IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals UpSkill Malaysia 2021. I am Jessima Alia, your MC for today. First of all, I would like to thank all participants for joining our session for today. This event is organized by IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia and co-organized by IEEE Malaysia AP, MTE or EMC Joint Chapter, IEEE Power and Energy Society Malaysia, and IEEE Consultants Network Malaysia, supported by the IEEE Region 10, IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals, and IEEE Malaysia section. This event is broadcasted live on IEEE YP Malaysia YouTube channel and Facebook platforms. If you have any questions regarding the discussed topic, you can type your questions in the YouTube chat box and Facebook comments. So, the aims of IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals UpSkill Malaysia 2021 are 1. To establish professional development activities for students and young professional engineers, and 2. To provide a platform to enhance their soft skills with networking opportunities for a successful career. Before we go on with our program, I would like to remind our audience to fill in the attendance and feedback form. The link will be shared in the chat box. The certificates of participation will be given based on the marked attendance. I would also like to remind the participants to change their background to the one we shared in the chat box. All right, to kick off with our program, I would like to invite Ustaz Fakrul Razi Najmi bin Pahadi to perform a recitation of Al-Quran and recitation of Dua. Please welcome.
Thank you, Jessima. Inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Inshallah, I will recite Al-Quran from Surah Luqman, page 413, verse number 20. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ألم تروا أن الله سخر لكم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وأسبغ عليكم نعمه ظاهرة وباطنة ومن الناس من يجادل في الله بغير علم ولا هدى ولا كتاب منير وإذا قيل لهم اتبعوا ما أنزل الله قالوا بل نتبع ما وجدنا عليه آباءنا أولو كان الشيطان يدعوهم إلى عذاب السعير ومن يسلم وجهه إلى الله وهو محسن فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى وإلى الله عاقبة الأمور ومن كفر فلا يحزنك كفره إلينا مرجعهم فننبئهم بما عملوا إن الله عليم بذات الصدور نمتعهم قليلا ثم نضطرهم إلى عذاب غليظ ولئن سألتهم من خلق السماوات والأرض ليقولن الله قل الحمد لله بل أكثرهم لا يعلمون لله ما في السماوات والأرض إن الله هو الغني الحميد ولو أن ما في الأرض من شجرة أقلام والبحر يمده من بعده 7 أبحر ما نفدت كلمات الله إن الله عزيز حكيم ما خلقكم ولا بعثكم إلا كنفس واحدة إن الله سميع بصير صدق الله العظيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا ولوالدينا وارحمهم كما ربونا صغارا اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا وعن والدينا وعن جميع المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين اللهم افتح علينا حكمتك وانشر علينا من خزائن رحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين صدق الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you to Ustaz Fakhrul Razi Najmi bin Fahadi for the Quran and Dua recitation. Next, I would like to invite the Chairman of IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia, Dr. Harun Rashid, to deliver a welcoming speech to all participants. But before that, let us get to know him. Dr. Harun Rashid is an entrepreneur, engineer, academician, and researcher. He is the founder and CEO of Expertopedia Networks and Managing Director at SHEC Group. He completed his PhD in Electronics and Systems Engineering and his Masters in Microelectronics Engineering from University Kebangsaan Malaysia. He completed his Bachelor in Electrical and Electronic Engineering from University of Sunderland, United Kingdom. Since 2015, he has been serving as an IEEE volunteer at several positions. Currently, he is the chair of IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia, chair of IEEE Consultants Network Malaysia, and regional representative Asia Pacific of IEEE Power and Energy Society, Young Professionals, and many other regional leading roles. In 2020, he was awarded as the Outstanding Volunteer by IEEE Malaysia section for his enormous contribution and dedication to IEEE. Please welcome Dr. Harun Rashid.
Thank you very much, Jasima. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, Doctor, you are audible.
Thank you very much, Jasima, for the introduction. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Salam Sajatra and very good afternoon to all of you. And good morning and good evening to those who are joining us from overseas. On behalf of IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia, I would like to welcome today's guest of honor, Associate Professor IR Dr. Mohammad Fauzi Abdullah, the Chair of IEEE Malaysia section, our distinguished speakers and moderators for panel discussion session, and valuable attendees at the IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals UpSkill Malaysia 2021, organized by the IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia in collaboration with IEEE AP EMC Joint Chapter, IEEE Power Energy Society Malaysia Chapter, and IEEE Consultants Network Malaysia. So I welcome all of you to this event. Not to forget that this event is supported by IEEE Region 10, IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals, and IEEE Malaysia section. So we have organized this event for 2 days, 2 half-day sessions that will include the talk session. We have invited speakers for keynote talk. Also, there is a panel discussion session, and there will be some hands-on demonstration session, along with a networking session to upskill our participants in their professional career life. So, as the main objective of this event, the purpose of organizing this UpSkill Malaysia, as it is apparent from the name, UpSkill, we are focusing on upskilling. So what is that upskilling? We wanted to establish a professional activities event in that students and young professionals, they get a platform to enhance their soft skills with networking opportunities that can lead them for a successful career in future. Whether you are a student or you are a young professional or you are looking for a job, you are unemployed, that this event, I am believing that it's going to help all of you to upskill your soft skills. That I always emphasize that they are very much important for our youngsters, for our youth, for young generation. So because of the COVID situation around the world, we cannot go for a physical session this year. Last year also, we practiced all the activities in a virtual mode. And one thing that I came up with this idea that we don't want to charge anything from our participants. We are inviting speakers even from overseas. We have speakers from Malaysia, from other countries. Even we have one speaker coming from US. She will be joining later on to us. So we have invited the speakers, the best speakers around the globe. And the main thing that I wanted to do is to provide all these opportunities to students while they are sitting, students and young professionals, that I have associated a term for them. I call them future leaders. So you guys are future leaders. So this term that I have associated for all future leaders, that while they are sitting at home, let's learn. let's get and acquire the new things. So that this COVID-19, though it has affected our life badly, but there should be some benefits, there should be something that we can get out of the situation. So that is one of our initiative since I took over as a chair. So I brought this in this series of events throughout the year. And earlier we have organized one event. It's called First Future Leader Summit, which happened 2 months ago, and where we received about 1,500 plus registrations from all over the world. And I'm very excited to share this good news that today's event we are coming to you with this good news that we received more than 2,000 registrations. So more than 2,000 people have registered and shown their interest to come and join this session. And right now I can see that in the Zoom session, we have about 600 plus participants right now, 600, and the counter is going on. And alongside, we also have this session going on live at YouTube and Facebook, and we have hundreds of participants there. So I can see that people are looking forward for this upskilling thing, and they really want to learn. So thank you very much for your all participation, for your enthusiasm, for your interest in our event. And another thing that I want to mention, that these participants are not only coming from Malaysia. We have received these registrations for more than 50 countries around the globe. So this is something very amazing for us that we are organizing in Malaysia virtually, first time. And thank you very much to our supporters that they have given us this chance, this opportunity to come up with this type of activities, and they have supported us. So before I proceed further and you enjoy all the talks, let me give you just a very quick general overview of what you are going to experience in these 2 days. After me, you will hear our guest of honor, Associate Professor IR Mohammad Fauzi Abdullah, the chair of IEEE Malaysia section. He will give his opening speech. Afterward, you will hear from government perspective. We have invited T.S. Zainab Ahmed. She will be talking about women in leadership. Then we have a speaker coming all the way from US, Dr. Shea Baramirat. She will be talking about sustainable innovations that change the world. So after these 2 keynote talks, we will proceed with the workshop session that we have invited our speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Sharinaz Ismail. She will be talking about project management, fundamentals, tools, and techniques that you should learn. So this is a workshop. In that, participants are going to learn the in-depth details about these things. Then we have another interesting session that is in high demand. I will say that is in high demand because from our previous event, we received a lot of feedback that people wanted this session again. That is about resume writing. So we have invited our very own Dr. Raimi Devan. He will be giving hands-on demonstration about resume writing, how you have to come up with such a CV that when you submit in a company and then you get hired. So these, as I mentioned, the soft skills, we will not conclude in this today's half day. We will move tomorrow as well. So tomorrow we'll be meeting again at 1:45, and then the program will start with a keynote talk that we have invited IRTS Azizi A. Hadi. He'll be talking about how technology impacted our quality of life. So after this keynote talk, we have invited some speakers to talk about professional upskills post-pandemic. So after this pandemic is over now, since Alhamdulillah in Malaysia, we are already moving into recovery phase and some states are already in phase 2 and 3. So what is going to happen? How this professional upskill is going to change our life? So we have invited speakers from industry and academia. Datu Sri Azmi Aziz will be with us along with Dr. Juvono and Ms. Natasha. Mr. Michael Joseph is coming from industry, will be moderating this session. And then we will have an interesting event. So guys, don't miss that interesting event. That is about a networking session. So this networking session is going to be an amazing event for young professionals. Some of you have already given your names to be part of it. So those who didn't give it, don't worry. You can just still enjoy the session. It doesn't mean that you didn't give your name or you couldn't get the chance on first come first serve basis, so you cannot join it. We still give you a chance. You will still come in. You will participate in this networking session. We have invited speakers from different young professional associations. such as UFresh, SPE, and Math Energy, and some other academicians as well. Along with the speakers will be Nakiruddin Noordin. Also, we have one speaker from IEEE Young Professionals section, Dr. Ivan, Zatul Ifa, Hazwan, and Salman Asay. They will be the team leaders. They will be the facilitators to take the networking session. And then the interesting part, what I mentioned, that this networking session is just not only talk. No, there will be some kind of activities, and after that, the volunteers who have already given their names in our WhatsApp group, they will participate in a competition. They have to present. They will be given some tasks. So when they are going to present those presentations after their task, there will be a competition among them, and the winners, the winning teams, will be announced and they will be evaluated by our judges. We have a list of judges, which I'm not going to reveal it now. Okay. And then you will hear one talk about IEEE, a journey of learning to leadership. Our Vice Chair of IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia, Dr. Nadia Hussaini Zainul Abidin, she will be talking to you tomorrow. She will explain you about IEEE, will give you an overview, plus she will share her own journey, that how from her student time she has reached to the leadership level. So that is going to be an interesting session. Don't forget that. And then we will end the session with the announcement of our winners from networking session. So these 2 days, I am very much...
I'm sorry, Dr. Harun.
Yes.
You have 1 minute left. So can you please wrap up your speech? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So after this 2 days of session, I am very much hopeful that that these speakers that you are going to hear, it is going to really boost your soft skills, and it will make you think and give you direction how you have to go in future with your plan. So at the end, I would like to take this opportunity again to thank our supporters, IEEE Region 10, IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals, and IEEE Malaysia section to support this summit. And with this, I wish you all the best to enjoy the summit, and don't forget to participate in the networking session. Okay, so thank you very much, and enjoy the whole session. With this, I hand over the session to our MC back. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Dr. Harun Rashid, for the very uplifting and welcoming speech. Now, I would like to invite the chairman of IEEE Malaysia section, Associate Professor Dr. Engineer Fauzi Abdullah, to give an opening speech. For the audience knowledge, Associate Professor Dr. Engineer Fauzi Abdullah is an Associate Professor at the School of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering at University Technology Malaysia. He is currently the Director at the Center of Electrical Energy Systems, Institute of Future Energy, UTM. He is a Chartered Engineer registered with the Engineering Council, United Kingdom, a Professional Engineer registered with the Board of Engineers Malaysia, and a Certified Energy Manager registered with the ASEAN Energy Management Scheme. He was the Chair, Vice Chair, Secretary, Executive Committee for PES Malaysia. Currently, he is the chair for the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers Malaysia section. Without further ado, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Engineer Fauzi Abdullah to give his opening speech. Please welcome.
Thank you, Miss Chairperson, for today. Right, okay, sound check first. Is it clear?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, sorry. Okay. Right, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon, and also a very good morning, okay, for some of the participants. Okay, right. Okay, first of all, okay, on behalf of IEEE Malaysia section, I would like to express my appreciation, okay, to the IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia, okay, for organizing this, I would say, marvelous event, because I just got the statistics this morning about the number of registrations. Well, I'm quite surprised. I thought the number is 210, but then it's 2,100. I'm quite surprised. Congratulations for the for the committee for the hard work to really promote this event. Right, and also I would like to express our appreciation, okay, to the co-organizer, the AP, MTT, EMC Malaysia Chapter, Power Energy Society Malaysia Chapter, and IEEE Malaysia Consultant Networks. Also, the supporter for this event, the IEEE Region 10, okay, and IEEE Region 10 Young Professionals. Also, I would like to express also appreciation to the speakers. Okay, there are speakers from the government agency, from the academia, from the industries, from locals and international speakers. Okay, again, thank you for your time and effort to make this event successful. Okay. And also, I would like to welcome all the participants, okay, from Malaysia, from Pakistan, from Philippines, from all around the world. Okay, I just from Harun's presentation said around 50 countries. That's why it's a very marvelous. Okay, thank you for your support. Okay, I think this is a very good event, especially for the young professionals. Okay, when we talk about young professional, YP, what is young professionals? Okay, young professional, first you must be young, okay, and you must be working as a professionals as a professionals, okay. But in IEEE, YP, okay, or young professional is for those who graduated. Okay, they define it for those who graduated within 15 years of your first degree. Okay, if you graduated less than 15 years ago, you are considered YP. Okay, so. Right, so these young professionals are actually the important group in the society. Okay, so if you look at here, IEEE, we have IEEE Young Professionals Society, a group I would say. Okay, so basically, if you are young professionals or going to be a young professional, you have a special place in IEEE where we actually look after you. Okay, so this is a very important. So that's why this is actually what among the activities that IEEE do. Okay, so we talk about upskills. What is upskills? Upskills like new skills. Okay, maybe the skills that you don't actually learn during your undergraduate studies. Okay, what actually the current skills that industries want. Okay, maybe like for example, if you look at the content of this program, you have resume writing. Okay, maybe some of you take it lightly. But that is the most important thing when you want to start your career, okay? To get into the professional, the professional career, to start your professional career. Then you need to learn what actually the current skills that you need to develop. And maybe we talk about IoT or the AI and all that. Okay, this is actually all the important skills that you need to learn. Okay? So this is IEEE is the right place who can actually help to that can you help your career. Okay, right. So right, I would like to quote. There's a quote about this young professional. Okay, we cannot prepare the future for the youth or for the young professional. We cannot prepare because this is something that unknown to us. But we can prepare our young professional for the future. Okay, so this is a very important. This is what this kind of activities are the purpose. We want to prepare our young professional for the future, which is uncertain. Okay, especially like this currently we have this pandemic. Okay, what happened with the post-pandemic? What can actually we prepare all these young engineers to really progress in their career, right? So I think I don't want to talk much further. I hope that everyone, Malaysians or all international participants, I hope that you enjoy this event. You learn something. Do this opportunity to network, which is a very, very important. Networking is a very important to really boost your career. And then you learn something. And also for those who are joining us today who are not yet IEEE member, join us. Be part of IEEE family. Thank you. Over to you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Engineer Fauzi Abdullah for the opening speech. Now, I'm sure everyone is excited for the first talk of the evening. I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Professional Technology Zainab Ahmad to give her presentation on women in leadership. But before that, let us get to know the honorable speaker. Young Berusaha Professional Technology Zainab Ahmad is currently the Director General of the Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education in the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia. She manages the development and implementation of full-time and lifelong learning programs, research and innovation, besides monitoring the governance of polytechnics and community colleges. Before we proceed with the talk, let me remind our audience that we will have a group photo by the end of this talk. So prepare yourself and open your cameras after this talk. I also would like to remind that participants may write their questions in the chat box. So now, please welcome Yang Berusaha Professional Technology Zainab Ahmad. The stage is yours for the next 30 minutes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you, Madam Moderator. Everybody can hear me? A thumbs up will do.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, thank you, Professor Dr. Harun Rashid, the Chair of IEEE Young Professionals, and Associate Professor Dr. Engineer Fauzi Abdullah for the enlightening opening just now. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the organizers for inviting me. This is indeed a very prestigious opportunity for me to be speaking to the esteemed members of your professional group. So it gives me also a great pleasure to share some inspiring leaders of tomorrow. Well, maybe I just like to enlighten you that I graduated from electrical engineering way back in 1985 from Loughborough University in UK. So I was once a member of IEEE too, but as I moved on to doing management, well, it's not so taxing now, and I need to leave some of the professional things behind to concentrate on my management. And for information also, that maybe the topic that's given to me on women leadership is because I'm the first Director General, the first woman Director General for the Polytechnics and Community Colleges since the inception of Polytechnic way back in 1969 in Malaysia. So a bit on my organization, we have 36 polytechnics currently and 104 community colleges in the country. So we are basically a very strong on TVET, but of course TVET and engineering, they are brothers and sisters to each other. So I hope to be able to give you some pointers, and I hope that Allah will make it easy for me to do this daunting task on a lazy Saturday afternoon to keep you awake and some take hopes from me. So with that, can I get my first slide? Yeah, somebody can assist me with my first slide. Okay, that's my intro done. By the way, so that you won't sleep, in TVET we have creative people, and it's not me doing the slides, it's me giving the contents, and they curating the whole presentation, just to promote my staff and my students, of course. Can I move on to the next slide? Okay, my next slide is actually a very important thing to put into yourselves, because this is, to me, your niyat or niyah. For me, this slide speaks for itself, because for us, a human being living in this world, we do not always pass a certain place twice. So as I was passing, I expect to pass through this world but once. Any good thereof that I can do, or any kindness I can show to any fellow creature, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. This is a very poetic phrase from Grelet, and I use it to remind myself, and I hope And I hope it's also a reminder for all of us, especially for us Muslims, that the niyat to do something is very important. So we put it first and foremost in our life, that whatever we're doing, being young professionals or any work you're doing, put your niyat first, put your intention first, get your intention right, and the rest will be easier for you to do. Okay, so can I have the next slide then? And also, I've taken a translation, a verse translation from the Quran, from verse 159 of the Surah Al-Imran, because this verse to me, if you read, I've given the translation in both English and Malay, because this sets the scene for a leader. You know, for a leader, it says, by the mercy of Allah, you are lenient, or it doesn't mean lenient, but it means actually kind-hearted with them. And if you had been rude in speech and harsh in heart, if you are being very, if you think you're a leader and you need to stamp your feet, you need to tell people, you command people, so it might put them away from you. So this is, I think, a part of leadership is to adjust yourself so that you are more approachable. So pardon them and ask forgiveness and for them, and consult them in matter. So consultation is very important, because consultation, you don't know everything, you don't know many things. So when you do consultation, it's like working in a jama'ah, working together. So there's a barakah there, and you get people, you rope in people. So to me, this is another guiding principle that I would like to share with everyone, especially for the Muslims. Always remind yourselves that you don't know everything, and be nice to people. Then people will be nice to you. Okay, thank you. Can we have the next slide, please? My next slide is actually for a leader. You just have to remember, a leader is a reader. Meaning, to be a leader, you have to read. There's a lot to be read in this world, and especially if you want to be a leader, go and get some good books to read. So when I started my career about 35 years ago, and I moved on to middle management, I found this book. So this book actually by Jim Collins. Jim Collins is an author, and he graduated from Stanford University way back in 1980. But he has worked with many consultant companies. So he has done a research on what it makes to be a leader, and what are the steps that this person climbs to get there. So he sort of has consolidated it into 5 levels. If you can just look at level 1, the lowest level first, if you can see that it says for level 1 is highly capable individuals. So I think the forum that we're having today and collecting all the IEEE young professionals is a good start, because you have to certify yourself to be highly capable individuals who are making productive contributions through talent, knowledge, skills, and good work habits. Because I think you all know about ASK, attitude, skills, and knowledge. So if you have skills and knowledge, you have the right attitude, you won't climb up the ladder. So that's the very first premise. And if you go to level 2, contributing team member, do not be selfish. You know, if you are good, you share and you work in teams. That's another thing that we need to do. We contribute in our team, so that is a team effort, is a team that gets up, okay? Then you can see, as you climb up the ladder again, people will acknowledge you, people will recognize your contribution. So you will become a competent member and a manager. So the manager, you have more responsibilities, and that's where you really brush up and groom yourselves. And of course, you will rise up as a level 4 to be an effective leader. And what is interesting to me is the research done by Jim Collins is that he found at level 5, at the executive level, where a few only managed to get up, is actually a blend of your personal humility and your professional will. So I think the word professional really jives with your association. So you just have to remember the quwwah and amanah, your personal humility will get you there. Okay, so yeah, that's this slide. Can we move to the next slide, please? I try to get books that are in relation to your profession, actually, and actually my profession. So let me introduce Peter Senge, or if some people do not know Peter Senge, you should know that he's also an engineer. So he has crafted this learning organization, and the principles behind his learning organization reminds me of control engineering. So he says that a learning organization is the term given to a company that facilitates the learning in its members, and it continues to transform itself. So a learning organization is also a place where people are continually discovering and how they create their reality. So I on and off will always be referring to these 5 disciplines when I try to get everybody to work together and to remind ourselves. So can we have the next slide? Okay, this slide shows you the 5 basic principles of a learning organization. Let me start with the left side. The system thinking. The system thinking as roping everybody in, it really reminds you of a block system that does control. I think that whatever we do, we have to deep dive into what's happening in the organization. And roping everybody in is also under shared vision. So if we had shared vision, then we will progress, because everybody knows there's a stake for them in whatever you're doing. And most importantly, I think it jives with today also, the personal mastery. Everybody in the team has something to offer and has got a personal mastery, a certain field, the IT, the engineering, even for us in TVET, the creative guys, they are the ones that does up and does the touch up or putting the icing on the cake. So all these 5 basic principles, including mental models and team learning. Yeah, team learning is another component which I think is very important, because I mentioned earlier about sharing. So when we do team learning, we are also sharing and making sure everybody is being roped in together. So can we move to the next one? Okay, before I move to the next book, actually what I like to tell you is that the first 2 books are about the past and the present. So I urge you for the future, this is the book that you should be reading and getting your hands on first and read, because it's about 5 minds for the future. It's about what we are going through now. Even though Howard Gardner, when he wrote this book, he was not thinking about the COVID coming in with us. He had gathered all this, and he has seen the future in terms of what's happening in the progress of technology and so on. He has seen that if we don't take up certain things and improve ourselves, we would not be able to survive the future. So if you want to survive and you want to be a leader, I urge you, hold on to this book, read this book. I'll just give you I will just touch certain things that I think will trigger your mind into what Howard Gardner has said. Okay, can we have the next slide? All right, so let me introduce what he means by the 5 minds for the future. So he has disciplined mind. Okay, as you all know, discipline, like engineering is a discipline. Of course, you need to have a disciplined mind. You can also relate to being disciplined if as opposed to being somebody who's not disciplined, meaning you follow rules, meaning you have certain way of conducting things. So that's very important. Then synthesizing mind, I will discuss later. So if things are all cluttered up in your brain, in your mind, you're not being able to synthesize. So then the creating mind is another one, because the future is all about creating, co-creating and recreating. So if you don't have that mindset, you won't be able to survive the future. Then respectful mind and ethical mind. The last two mindsets is what's worrying most of us, because the future leaders, if this erodes in the system worldwide, we are in trouble. Prof. Harun Rashid. Just take, yes, doing that. Okay. So can I have the next slide? Okay. So the next slide articulates what Howard Gardner says. So if I can just read through, and maybe we will contemplate together. So the first one about the discipline, individuals without one or more disciplines will not be able to succeed in any demanding workplace. So you'll be just doing menial work, or maybe you just maybe be performing a job that's beneath your qualification. So you really have to make sure, like now because of COVID, many of our SPM leavers after Form 5, they're just thinking, oh, I'm just going to relax, just get any part-time job, and that will survive. So please caution our young generation, studying, getting a good qualification is very important. Yeah. The second one is about synthesizing. So if we do not know how to synthesize, we'll be overwhelmed by all the information, like getting into things, you would not be able to prioritize. Therefore, you would not be able to do decisions. So this is also important, maybe a skill that IEEE Young Professionals can dwell later. So how to enhance your synthesizing capabilities. Again, it's about, and the third one is about creating. Just now I did touch a bit about creating. If you don't know how to create something new, something novel, AI, the algorithm, the computers will be taking away the jobs from you. Okay, so you have to be always thinking of new things. But most worrying, I said just now, was about the respectful mind. People are always thinking about they are better than others, not compromising with people. So this is damaging. It's like a poison. And people who do not have ethics, of course, then they think everything is for themselves. So then we will end up with a world that nobody wants that person as the leader. Okay, that's about it from the books. And maybe the last few minutes, I like to share from my own personal pointers. This is to do with your everyday, your day-to-day interaction with your colleagues or your subordinates. I just like to share with you, first and foremost, from the left side, if I can start from the left side, be humble. So you don't lose anything by being humble, being nice to people, be kind. And seek first to understand, then to be understood is another one that actually I link this to the part where I say listen, listen, listen. So listening and seeking to understand, it is correlating and it helps you to perform your task better. And of course, team works. It works. I've stressed it many times with my review of the past two books, right? And if you move on the right-hand side about engaging, that's another one, engaging others. That's also one of my strong personal pointers. And another thing that we must remember is my very last one there. Isn't it better to be happy together than to be right alone? Always put this at the back of your mind when you're in an argument with anybody, be it your superior, be it your colleagues, be it your subordinates. Always think about not losing relationship. We are not always right. Sometimes we give in because we want people to work together, to come up harmoniously together. Next slide. Next slide is what I want to share. This is a self-reflection. This I found through the internet. It's just a reflection, again, for the purity of the heart. It's a reminder so that we have some sense of purpose. And the sense of purpose in life is not getting everything in this world. It's about doing it for others. And then God will give it for you. So if we can go through this together, nothing in nature lives for itself. The rivers don't drink their own water. The trees don't eat their own fruit. The sun does not give heat for itself. Flowers don't spread fragrance for themselves. Living for others is the rule of nature, and therein lies the secret of life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a mother, so I concur a lot with this to nurture and to teach our future generation what it means to be a human. And I think my last slide, we are coming to my last slide. My last slide is how to position yourself for the future. Again, I'm emphasizing on being kind. So my umbrella takeaway from that is be a global citizen. Like we have today in your forum, Prof. Harun Rashid just now mentioned about 50 countries. We are here. This is a very good start because you are increasing your awareness and understanding about other people. You're building your cross-cultural knowledge. So it is good. It's very good. You must be a global citizen. And of course, to do that, people are not going to listen much to you if you don't have your personal mastery. So it has to start with technology. It has to start with some kind of tool and that you own it and you can share with others. And with that, you can engage, educate, and empower others. Next is you need to contribute. Again, you need to contribute so that don't always ask for yourself, but for you. Just think about what you can give to the country. And groom yourselves. So you are a leader in your own right. Because I know some have TVET lecturers who are good cooks. So sometimes you think a cook, a chef, but they are showing recipes and so on. So do not undergrade people. You are a leader in your own right, your own personality style, your own way of thinking. But if you have the right intention, the right niyat, God will make it easy for you to get there. And the last one is a responsibility onto every one of us. Leaders make leaders. So you must always remember you have to groom leaders after you. Leaders make leaders, and leaders are also readers. So ladies and gentlemen, I like to end my presentation so that I can give you some time. Maybe if you want to interact and ask questions from me. Sekian, terima kasih. Thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to the host. Thank you.
Thank you for a brilliant and inspiring sharing session from Young Berusaha Professional Technology Zainab Ahmad. So now we will begin our Q&A session. If anyone would like to ask any questions, feel free to write your questions in the chat box. So we have a question from Ms. Aziza, which is, how did you reach your level of success given the sector's gender gap, especially among leadership?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, if I can just use the term perluasan pengalaman and penggiliran tugas. If I translate that, perluasan pengalaman is enrichment of your experience and perluasan pengalaman, penggiliran tugas, and rotation, job rotation. Okay, so in our scheme, we are TVET practitioners, about 10,000 of us. We have our own scheme in the government. Way back, we got our scheme way back in 2008. So we devised our scheme so that we not only groom our leaders, but we ensure that our leaders do that, get a lot of experience. If I can say that ASK, attitude, skills, and knowledge, and then you add in ME, management experience. So ask me, to be a leader, ask me. So ask me anything, because I know about management, and I came from the background of the core business of teaching and learning. So when you have gone through a lot of rotation and experiencing this and that, so the appraisal from your subordinates will show it. For example, like in a management experience, We want our leaders to be able to lead in the setting of polytechnics, in the setting of community college. So that's very much teaching and learning. And then if they are good enough, they will be leading in the headquarters. So I have had more or less 10 years, 10 years, and 10 years. I had a nice how to say distribution of being in polytechnics around 10 years, another 10 years in a community college, and another 10 years in headquarters. Because when you are in the headquarters, you do policy, and then you know how to translate the policy into your own organization, back to how it is done for implementation. So that is the holistic development that I have received. And Alhamdulillah, it gets me to where I am today. And for your information, being a woman, back in 1980s and 1990s, yes, the portion was like 40 women to 60 men. Now it's reversed. Now there are about 60% ladies and 40% men. And like I told my former Director General before me, the future is female. Thank you.
So girl power. Okay, so our next question is from Ling Tian Wong in the chat box. What is the best way to achieve work-life balance?
Okay, I like that. Okay, well, work-life balance is, I think when I showed the slides about synthesizing, right? I find that in Malaysia is a lot of rote learning, and so you have to it's like, how to say, you force yourself to bring in a lot into you, so you clutter everything. If only you can compartmentalize and organize certain things, prioritize them, learn to prioritize them, you know, so you will have time and space to do everything else. Okay, like for me, if I can share, I married early. I married when I came back, I was already married, and I had 4 children within 8 years of my career. Okay, but marry a helpful guy that does your housework together with you. I didn't have any maid. Okay, what I did was I learned from somebody, empower your children. So not having maid, and everybody will do their chores together. And ladies and gentlemen, I have never washed any of my children's shoes because I empower them. So at the age of 5, 6, they can hold the brush, they can play with the soap, they can wash their own clothes. And then when they get told off by the teacher, I'm not batting an eye. I said, that's your shoes, not mine. You're going to get the scolding from teachers. So empower them early, give them responsibility, they will do their part. And when they reach the age of, as I can remember, when they were in Form 3, equivalent to 9 years old, they were ironing their own clothes. But of course, you teach them. So learning to empower, and then you will have time to enjoy, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure your weekends are your time with your family. Like I go walking in the morning with my husband, that's a special time with him. And then spending your Saturday and Sunday lunch and dinner with them. But in between, you do your own work and they do their own work. So have a good night's sleep. Yeah, 5 to 6 hours is very, very, very important. So maybe that's my tip. I can't remember all, but that's roughly my my techniques, how you can adjust yourself to having a balanced life.
Okay, thank you. That is such a very, very good answer. I agree with you very, very much. Okay, so our next question in the chat box would be from Mohammad Azim Nashraf bin Zulkifli, asking, what is the step or process to be a professional engineer, such as to gain the title engineer, IR? So that's all.
Oh, I think this guy is asking the wrong person. Okay, because I did not climb up the ladder being a professional engineer. Maybe I'll reserve that question to Prof. Harun or Prof. Fauzi, okay? Yeah, so sorry because yeah, I'm a registered engineer as I got back from UK, but since I went into teaching and I was with the scholarship from Ministry of Education, so it wouldn't do justice to answer it my way because I was not a professional engineer, because I went to teaching. Okay.
Okay, next question would be from Izati Sulaiman, asking what is the advice on how to be nice when it is hard to be nice in certain situations, and how to remain kind and positive. Professional.
Oh yeah, that's a tough. I just it's always like, okay, your first, you know when you know that you are 51% nature and 49% nurture. So you must say Alhamdulillah if God has given you the nature of being somebody who's not very aggressive, or you're more she's a nice person, she's a kind person, right? I have that personality of being very motherly, so that helps me. So if how to say, if I want to remind somebody or reprimand somebody, I put on a motherly tone, okay? Especially with guys, so there are certain techniques you do. You put on a motherly tone, and then when you want to say something to correct that person, it's easier to take in, right? I know the tone of saying things, it matters. So it's how you conduct yourself, it matters. So the choice of words, it matters. The way you say things, it matters. And taking a deep breath before answering the question, before answering or taking immediate answer, immediate response. Please take a few minutes, no, not a few minutes, a few seconds to reflect on what is my strategy. Because sometimes not answering is an answer. And you take up with that person a little bit later, okay? And in private. Do not embarrass somebody in public. Take that up somewhere else. Gestures like sharing food, but now you cannot share it together, of course. Giving something, not a big present or whatever, but sharing and showing that you care is also important, right? And if you want to pick something that's not right, pick it on the job, not on the personality that person did wrong. It's not the personality, it's the job per se. Okay, I hope that helps a bit. But if the person asking me has got an example, then I can share. Okay, by the way, earlier on, I also took up a diploma in counseling. So I sort of told myself, I need this end of soft skills to help me. So I did a diploma in counseling that actually for my purpose is to help me to understand people better.
Thank you. So our last question for the day will be from Juliana. So the values that you are trying to tell us that we should incorporate within ourselves, what are the major challenges in nurturing these values in this new generation?
Yes, good question. Because last week I was doing the appraisal, and people got promoted, and so we need to place them, right? We need to place them, the right people at the right place. Okay, one thing I found that, okay, forgive me if I'm saying something that some people might be offended, right? But when you are young, you like to climb up the ladder very quickly. you're in a rush to get there. Okay, and sometimes you step people as you climb up the ladder. You know what I mean by stepping people, right? You're like to take other people's things, and I know that you like for your profession, maybe presenting papers, so there's strings of people's name behind the paper, and some people nudge some people out of the line so that they get themselves. So, but I find that please do not do that. Please uphold your integrity, and please believe in yourself that you can do it yourself and not stepping on the others. Take ownership. Take ownership of what you do. You know, don't pinch on others. Believe in yourself that you can do it, and you feel proud that you are doing it yourselves and not depending on others. So it might take a bit longer, but the satisfaction is inside. It's inside you. Nobody can take away the feeling that you have because you did it yourself. Another pointer I like to give is 3 things. As a leader, irrespective of your age, you must have a sense of purpose, you must have inner strength, and you must have drive. You remember the drive? Because when you are driving and you want to reach a destination, you time yourself. You don't have to drive fast, but you have to drive to get there safely and on time. So you plan your journey. You plan your journey, you drive at the right tempo, at the right speed, which is comfortable to you. Because for me, like when I'm on the road, I'm a 90. I rarely go over 100. And I dare not go over 100. So that's me. So I plan my journey way ahead. So do not rush. Plan yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Because let's say you climb up too early, then you find yourselves like my juniors. Wow, what are they going to do? 54 already? At the age of 40? What are they going to do for the next 20 years? Because you will hit the ceiling in terms of your pay promotion, you know? So what are you going to do? And what? Then you're going to create all kinds of noises because the government cannot give you more than the government can. So pace yourself, you know, because there are other priorities in life, like starting a family. You got a boyfriend waiting for you to get married. Why delay? Having babies, you have to do it early. Not many people can get babies at the age of 50, you know. So even though that's a joke, but that's life. So prioritize. Somebody's waiting for you, or the guys, you collecting so much money that by the time you become old, you got no hair already, then only you're looking for a young girl, nobody's looking your way. If I can put it that way. So prioritize your life, enjoy it when you're young, smell the roses, go out, meet people, you know, don't be sitting at home, slogging through your papers and papers and papers. Life is too short to be torturing yourself. So that's my advice, maybe, Madam Moderator. Yeah. So ease off on life. If you're getting there, you do your best. Allah will do the rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Young Berusaha Professional Technology Zainab Ahmad. So before we go on, let us all take a picture together with Young Berusaha Professional Technology Zainab Ahmad. I would like to invite Mr. Zohrul to take over the photo shooting session.
Okay, thank you. Now it's high time to take a group photo with our honorable speaker. So please be ready. I will be counting from 3 to 1. We have a couple of pages, so please keep calm until I say done. Okay, I'm counting down. 3, 2, 1. Please keep calm until I say done. Don't forget to show the best pose. Okay, we have 12 more pairs.
Okay, Zoro, is it done?
Okay, come. We have 7 more pages.
Because we have many participants with us today. So take some time to take pictures. Yes. We're very glad for such many participants that join us today.
And when we post your photos on this summit, don't forget to tag us. All right, thank you. I have done. So I'll pass to the MC.
Okay. Thank you again to Yang Berusaha Professional Technology Zainab Ahmad. Before I go on with our program, I would like to remind our audience to follow IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Telegram, LinkedIn, and Clubhouse. Just type in IEEE YP Malaysia. So next, I would like to invite Dr. Shea Bahramirat to give a presentation about sustainability innovations that change the world. But before we proceed to do so, let us get to know her first. Dr. Shea Bahramirat is the Vice President of Climate and Resilience at Quanta Technology. She is responsible for assisting cities and utilities with climate change risk assessments for their assets, operations, services for developing mitigation strategies, and investment strategies for adapting to climate change. Dr. Bahramirat is an editorial board member of the Electricity Journal and a adjunct professor at the Illinois Institute of Technology and the IEEE or PES Vice President of New Initiatives and Outreach. She is the contributor to the United Nations SG7.
Hi, do you know why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals early in our career? Well, what is IEEE Young Professionals and how can it help us? IEEE Young Professionals is an international community of enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers. Any IEEE member can be a young professional, and any member who received their first professional degree within the last 15 years is automatically considered a YP. Now, IEEE Young Professionals is bigger than you may think. It is one community in 10 regions across 183 affinity groups and more than 120,000 members around the world. So, why should we engage with IEEE Young Professionals, you ask? It is a place to connect and network with other professionals, enrich our career and personal lives, and participate in social events and activities. We can participate in many professional networks such as IEEE Collaboratech, IEEE email account via Google Apps, and take part in local meetings and online activities such as conferences and job fairs. We can also access the IEEE Center for Leadership Excellence for on-demand content. This really is an excellent resource to equip us with professional development skills. The benefits go on and on, particularly for young professionals early in our career as well as students. We can enhance our technical skills by accessing eBook Classics, IEEE Member Digital Library, Spectrum and Potential Magazine, IEEE Explore, conferences, and more. Look, the bottom line is this. We can participate in exciting local events and global webinars for topics such as assessing emotional intelligence, fundamentals for leadership and ethics, peerless networking for engineers, survival guide for scientific writing, conflict management, negotiation tactic, and others. For all these great reasons, engaging with IEEE Young Professionals may be one of the best decisions that we can make in our personal lives and professional career development. That is why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals.
Members of the audience, I'm very sorry to tell that our speaker is facing technical issues. So we are now moving on to the next speaker, which is a hands-on demonstration of resume writing by Dr. Raimi Dewan. So let us get to know this very honorable speaker. Dr. Raimi Dewan received his bachelor degree in electrical and telecommunication engineering, master degree in electrical and PhD in electrical engineering from UTM. His research area is in the RF and microwave field. He is currently a senior lecturer at the School of Biomedical Engineering and Health Science, UTM. He joined the Institute of Electronics and Communications of Rennes, France, as a postdoctoral researcher. He is actively working with Naval Group and Cerebase for the industrial projects under the Ministry of Arms, France. He was a RFID UHF Product Coordinator, Manufacturing Engineer, and RF Design Engineer 1 with HID Global, Keysight Technologies, and Smart Track Technologies, respectively. So before I invite our speaker to the stage, let me remind our audience that we will take a group photo by the end of this talk. So prepare yourself and open your cameras after this talk. With that, I would like to welcome Dr. Raimi Dewan. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum and good day. Is my voice clear? Is it clear, Jessima?
Yes, it is very clear.
Okay, so while I'm presenting, you guys, the audience, they can interrupt me asking, because if we are to wait until the end of the session, I worry we don't have time for that. Okay, I worry we don't have much time. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Okay. Do you guys see the screen now? Jessima, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it is clear.
So I might not be able to see the chat if there is someone asking, but it's better to just on your audio if you want to ask. Just interrupt me, okay? So thank you, IEEE Young Professional, for inviting me for this particular talk for hands-on demonstration on the resume writing. Okay. So I will actually presenting not really on the particular demonstration, because I think it will be take more time if I to go one by one in the following from the blank space until completion. Okay, so I will present based on per column what is the important information that you should have in your resume. This will make it a bit more distinguishable and attractive from the employer side. Okay, normally people don't write this in the resume because they focus on something else. Okay, so currently I'm a senior lecturer. Before this, I am the in industry. Okay, with 3 factories and a postdoc before. You guys can reach me at this following social network, and this is my email, okay, in case anyone would like to contact me in future. Okay, this is my institutional email, and this is my personal email. Okay, you are welcome to contact me anytime. Okay, I am from this diagnostic research group. Okay, this is our group, and this is our Facebook group. Okay, if you guys would like to interested to know about our research group in the future. Okay, before I start with my presentation, I would like to stress out some disclaimer. Okay, this talk is actually based on my personal experience. Okay, so everyone have their own personal experience. So it is neither right or neither wrong. Okay, we sharing our experience or what we have gone through in the past. Okay, so based on the applicant side and based on the employer side. Okay, because I once also looking resume from the applicant. I was also an applicant also myself last time. Okay, so this is based on my perspective where I using the my resume. I can get all the 8 interviews, all the 8 offers. I got to all of them, the 8 jobs, regardless whether this one is coming from international multinational companies, whether it's France or public university. I've been using this resume the same since 2010, just with improved versions. Means I improve from time to time. So I didn't make up my resume with design or colorful, just a plain black and white, because I'm focusing on the content, not on the design. Okay, this is what most of us, the new resume, we are looking onto the design more than the content itself. Okay, so of course, my opinion is not 100% correct. Okay, and not 100% true. You guys need to seek opinion from others as well in order for us to improve, in order for you and for me myself to improve resume writing. I also from time to time keep asking my colleague and my senior how I'm going to improve my resume. Okay, So first we go to the purpose of resume, and this the resume content, okay, the pages, general information, until the reference, this will be the demonstration. But the demonstration here is more on the explanation. If you guys have question, kindly ask, just interrupt me using audio Zoom, okay? Or someone, if there is any comment from the YouTube or from the Facebook, I hope the admin will let me know, okay? And then after that, I will proceed with additional tips. And this Q&A is during and end of session, but I'm suggesting that you guys just ask me during the session, because I'm worried we don't have much time if I'm going to let you guys ask me at the end of the session. Okay, so resume, you guys can see, is from the online definition, is a formal document, okay, that actually portray your professional qualification, your relevant work experience, skills, and whatnot. Okay, usually we pair it with cover letters. Cover letter is not mandatory, but it is good, okay, if you write something. It's also not a good skill or a bad impression when applicants email the employer email with empty content. That is very poor, okay? So you should write something, this what we call as cover letter, mentioning what are you applying for and just a brief introduction about yourself, okay? So my definition, resume is your representative, okay? The person doesn't know you, okay? They only know you based on these 2 to 3 pages of paper. They didn't know you at all, okay? So no one knows you out there unless you are very famous. So you need to write properly in order to present all the good qualities of you, not the bad qualities, okay? So you need to properly tell what good stories about you, put inside the resume, okay? So the purpose of your resume, okay, your real life and your resume, okay? Your real life have a lots of ups and downs in your life, okay? You get fired, okay? Sometimes maybe you actually get fired from your previous company, but you don't need to mention why, okay? Just write it properly. And then maybe you have medical record that is not in good condition. You don't have to put it. It's not lying, but it's actually you just mentioning what the good aspect of you. And in case if they want to know more, they will request from you the medical records, okay? But usually when the company are interested with you, they will ask for medical record later on, okay? Medical record or medical checkup later on, okay? And then your fail grades, your C, D, E, F until Z, even you don't have to put in your resume. You just need to put your A grade, okay? For example, if you get your matriculation 3A 1B, for example, okay, you just need to mention 3A. You don't need to mention 1B even, okay? So for the purpose of resume, the mistake in nowadays is actually it was never about the design of the resume, okay? We are not competing for best resume design. It's about the content of the resume, okay? So the value of resume deteriorated nowadays because people are keep on focusing on the design of the resume, not on the content. Whereas the sole purpose, the main purpose of having a good resume is actually a good paper that will represent you as a person, okay? Because the company, remember, company didn't know you, okay? So you need to make sure that your resume can represent you, okay? Because they're not going to meet you, they meet your resume first, okay? So there's if you search from online, you see a lot of interesting resume design, okay? This which I'm agree with. You can take anything, any one of them if you like, but do not let this attractive looking resume limit your creativity in providing informational rich resume, because you need to provide as much as information as you can inside a resume, so that people can access whether they are interested to you or whether you are actually fit for the job. Just the first impression, okay? And then do not overestimate yourself or underestimate. In the sense, overestimate is, for example, if you write this skill, for example, you are MATLAB okay, let's say you want to put MATLAB software, for example, you put yourself, maybe you put yourself 5-star, okay. But when the employer read your resume, then they will see, oh, this person is not really 5-star. Okay, so you should know your limit. You don't put sometimes we don't know we are actually that little, because we look so big on ourselves. Okay, so you cannot overestimate yourself, and of course you also cannot underestimate yourself. Don't be too humble. Let's say MATLAB skill you put 1/5. But because maybe you use it for your final project, so maybe it can be 3/5, okay, but not 5/5, for example. Okay, because if you put 5/5, some strict employer, they will assume that your knowledge in MATLAB can be used directly for the job. Then you'll be in trouble if you don't know. Okay, so you don't need to limit your page number. Okay, one page. If it's one page is too little, so what's the point? Sometimes we trying to impress the employer, we want to make one page, but because of that, we don't have enough information to show to the employer. Okay. Oh, okay. There is question. I'm interested to hear your postdoctoral application. Please kindly share with us. Oh, okay. I will share later on, because experience, I think, is story. You will we might not have the time, but I'm take note of that. Difference between resume and CV. Thanks for the question. Resume is actually a brief version of you, but do not let it be so brief that it cannot represent you. CV is actually the complete detail about your life. Okay, you can write everything. Like for my case, my resume is 4 pages, okay, because I'm already did my PhD in some work industry. But my CV is maybe for my CV, I forget, 14 pages. I forget how many pages, but it's a lot of pages. Okay. What about the summary on the first page? Okay, I will tell you later on. Okay. So okay, this is pages of resume based on my suggestion. If you are fresh grade, or no working experience, or your level is undergraduate or below, your resume should be 1 to 2 pages. Okay. If you are fresh grade with master or PhD but no work experience, your resume can be 1 to 3 pages. Okay. If you are with working experience and you want to limit to brief, okay, to brief is around 1 to 3 pages. But if you want to provide resume with working experience detail, you can provide 3 to 4. Okay. Because some employer they want a more detailed resume. This is depend on the employer. For example, if you are applying job for R&D, they would really like to know what you want to know. What they really like to know what you know and what you have been doing in your research. Because I was a design engineer and also R&D engineer. Okay, I even present. So they would like to know this. Okay. So there is neither good or bad resume. We just keep on improving. Okay. So first, the page is actually when you write the first page of resume, you should put your recent photo and you should put some personal statement about yourself. Okay. Make it more human. Don't put like just data. I born on this date. This. Okay. You just put your personal statement and you just show your passion inside a brief. Okay. I am engineer with over 9 years in R&D. I am looking forward to flourishing my expertise and widen my knowledge in academics and research industry. 2 sentences is okay. 3 sentences also okay. Depends on you. Okay. So you guys can is photo mandatory? Yes, photo is mandatory. Okay, and recent photo. Don't put your photo while you are in 5 years old. Okay. Recent photo, and make it a good formal photo so that it will look professional. Okay. So and then yes,
I'm sorry, Doctor. There is a question from Mr. Mohammad Ijwal. Is it important to add to the resume for other jobs that we did before? For example, like a personal teaching. For example, we are applying for electrical engineering posts.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will go on to that later on. It's actually in this later slide. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then second, you need to show this one. Usually people didn't put inside the resume. Okay, they didn't put inside the resume the key skill. You need to put. You don't put only Microsoft. Okay, you need to put what technical skill, for example, in software, what you know, and what you think that the level you are in. Okay, for example, here beginner, intermediate, advanced. Okay, you should put in 3 level. Okay, and then you don't need to use the. I don't really sorry. This is my personal preference and maybe my experience. I don't prefer people using the bullet. The bullet. I mean the 3 out of 5 star. Okay, it's not really. I think it's you can use this beginner, intermediate, advanced. Okay, because if you put inside in the 3 over 5 star, people will mention 3 over 5 star maybe 60%. Okay, so it's not. This one is better in my experience. Okay, and then you need to put measuring equipment. That's why your undergraduate is actually maybe you say, I'm not working, I don't have experience. That is not true. Let's say if you make initiative compared to your normal friend, you can learn about the equipment. Okay, don't let the technician do all your job. I know some equipment is expensive. Okay, but you can request from the technician or from your supervisor, I want to learn this equipment. Then you can put this equipment inside your resume. Okay, and this equipment, when the company that you apply, and maybe they use that, and they say, okay, this guy have some knowledge about it. So they are more interested to you. Because some employer feedback to me, they say it's difficult for them to find fresh graduate because they don't have this skill, equipment. Maybe true or maybe yes, I don't know. But on our side, maybe we know, but we didn't put it. Understand? Maybe we know, but we didn't mention it in our resume. Okay, and then you can put your additional certificates. Okay, for example here I put the health ISO. Okay, something that is not really related in engineering is okay. For example, like me, I put my French language, Japanese, Mandarin, and quality, because sometimes the job that you applying is you need to have multi skill, not only in engineering, maybe in qualities. Okay, so this is also to show to them that you are you are not coming, you're not only limited to the standard knowledge, you have extra knowledge. Okay, and then the membership, this one is depends. Okay, if you applying for lecture job, maybe membership is important also. Okay, but if the industry, maybe not so much. Okay, the membership. Okay. And of course, value yourself correctly, like what I told here. Value yourself correct, because don't put yourself 5 over 5, 6 over 5, impossible. Okay, so just value accordingly, but don't undervalue yourself as well. Okay, and then you put your education. For example, like my case, I put my PhD, master degree, and then also my matriculation and also my SPM. So put the good one only. For example, you see my SPM here, I put 9A, 9A1, but it's actually there is one before. I didn't put before there, because if you put one before, it will make the entire look bad. Understand? Just put 9A, then people say, wow, 9A, but they didn't know actually I have another 1B. Okay, so that's why. So include good grade, remove the bad ones. Okay, because remember, like what I told you show just now, the resume should show the best version of you. Okay, resume should show the best version of you, not the loser side of you. Okay. CGPA, yes. Okay. You should need to put CGPA. Okay, because this is very important, because for some company they really stress on the CGPA minimum. Okay, because there is happened to one of my friends. Okay, because he got a bad CGPA, I mean low, maybe below 3, I'm not sure. Then he applied to that employer. Then the employer either didn't call him back, or the employer request him for the second resume. After that, if they request for the second resume with the CGPA, after that the employer just silent. Why silent? Because your CGPA is not meeting the point, the what they want. So this is frustrating. So it's better just to be honest, to put your CGPA there. Okay, because if they call for you with your CGPA, even though it's not good, means that you are already, your CGPA factor is already considered. You don't need to worry about it anymore. Let's say if you are 2.8, for example, 2.8, you are being called for the interview, and there are also 3.7 are being called for interview. But so why you are being called even though you're 2.8? Maybe the company require 2.5 minimum. And doesn't mean that this 3.7 is better than the 2.8 CGPA. Because sometimes, that's why they call you for the interview, they want to know about you. Okay? Doesn't mean that good, smart people is good. Because in working environment, is the, the skill matter more than the education, solely on the education. Yes, you can put promoter, because let's say if you put your experience as promoter, and then let's say you are applying for sales engineer, this is very important. Okay, if you are applying for sales engineer or application engineer, your sales promoter is actually you have the skill in sale, even though you are selling maybe you are selling ABC, for example, selling shoes, sounds like not important, but the skill, something that you think you cannot see but employer can see. They see beneath that, they see the hidden skill. Okay, maybe you think, oh, I just selling shoe, it's not related with sales engineer, but for them, no, actually they know you have the skill in selling. Okay, for the resume, do we showcase the detail of our education in the first or last section? Oh, education is the first. Okay, the first. I will show my resume later on. Okay, I will show my resume. It's not the best, but it got me a job in the past. Okay, and I means that I don't fail my interview. I get all. Okay, so if you did a dropship, yes, you can put also. But this experience that is a bit minor, like dropship, sales, you can put, but don't write too much about it. Just maybe one sentence is enough. Okay, don't write so much. Oh, okay. Okay, I am okay, thank you for the question about I am interested about research-based job but not academic stuff. Do you have related experience and where do you usually look for job? Okay. Okay, thank you. And then next question, how do you arrange the detail in resume? This one is okay. This one I will show my complete resume outlook later on, okay? So experience, if you can see here, Zen Jackie, okay, I didn't put I have experience in industry, so I put it that way. You see, from my experience, I put here based on year. Okay, for example, this is senior lecturer, January until now. This is the experience in industry. The way you write about your experience in industry, in lecturing, or in any job, you should put the year and you should put your main duty. Our duty can be many. Okay, it's normal, but you just put your main duty. Okay, don't put all. If they're interested to know more, they will ask you during interview. Okay, and then like here in France, also I put my main duty and current achievement, and final year project. You also can input into your experience. Okay, and then if you have some research or teaching experience, or you have other experience. Okay, this one is experience as a senior manufacturing engineer. Okay, with site. And then this one is as research student. Okay, I put everything. Even my thesis is I also put inside what I achieved for my master. Okay, master and my final year project I also put here. Okay. Thank you, Islin Azlan. Detail about resume I will arrange. I will show later. Okay. And then after that, you need to show your selected curriculum. Selected, don't put all, because I know some you guys are very active. Maybe you guys become a student representative in your university, or maybe become representative here and there. So you have a lot of activity. But actually, to be honest, when people see your resume, they don't really have the time to read all. Okay, you may say, oh, I doing this, I manage this, I manage that, but they don't have the time to read that. So that's why you only take the selected one. Okay, so you only select the few one, and then you focus on that. For example, okay, like for this competition, instead of putting in one by one, it will be longer. I just put, for example, I-Tex, I just put 1 gold, 1 silver. I didn't put I-Tex 1 gold, I-Tex 1 silver. No, I just compile it. Okay, compile it like this. And then for curriculum, okay, for the soft skill, you can put here, but few selected. You don't put all. Okay, like this. For example, if you are a treasurer, okay, treasurer for this. For example, you are a treasurer. You put treasurer for a program, and what do you do? What do you achieve? For example, for my skill, okay, during student, I'm managing money 33,000. Okay, this is good. Rather than you just write in your curriculum section, I am a treasurer of my club and year. That's all. People don't know. Okay, so it's better one sentence, but can tell more about yourself. For example, this one, okay, treasurer, what I did, and then as secretary, what I did. Okay, and then for example, this one, curriculum doesn't seem big, just one credit, but I put inside managing 80 students on camping trip, so they know, oh, this person, they can maybe can manage outdoor activities, for example. Okay, something that maybe they require, maybe the job that you are applying require you to be on the field. Okay, these things may be like small, but they see around it. Okay, you guys, we applicant, maybe we don't really notice that what actually the employer are looking for. Okay, so experience are all counted. Limit the word depend on your target. Okay, all counted, but you take the best one. Okay, and then this is the personal experience. Okay, the personal experience, you can put a bit of human side of you. Okay, where you put your traveling, reading, voluntary work chapter. Okay, for work for charity. This is important because sometimes the interviewer would like to know the interesting side of you. What is your hobby? Okay, something for that is related to, maybe they would like to know more about you. Okay, question. Dear Mr. Remy, Hashim Abdul Mutal, I am sorry, but my question about summary of qualification of the first page. Oh, okay. I will show the resume. Okay, qualification is on the first page. Okay. Khalid, should I write all the courses and training that I did in specific inside my resume? If I have small business, do I read inside? Okay. So for the courses is actually the minor inside a program. Okay. Let's say you are program electrical engineering, you should take the course. Okay. You don't need to write all course, but if the job require you to have that skill, and if that you believe that course is related, you can put inside resume. It means you can put selected courses. Okay, you don't put all courses. If not, you become more. Because engineering is, if I'm second, 130 credit. I forget. Okay, you do. It's impossible to list down all. Okay, and then if I have small business, do I need to write inside the resume or not? Yes, Hakim. If you have small business, you can put it there. Okay, it's good. Okay, it's good because sometimes you're applying for sales engineer, application engineer, or something that related for you to have business skill. It's good. Okay, and then hi sir, I have question as a fresher. How can I put the additional certificate section because I don't have much additional cert? I only have certification of participant and okay. So Rushdina, you can put participation certificate, but don't put all. Just like even though I win the competition, or even though I have some committee post, I don't put all. I just put few one. You select the best one. Okay, select best one, and if you cannot select the best one, if you still not confused, still not sure, you put the reason one. Okay, the reason one, but don't put all, because people, like for me, I'm on the employer side. Like I said, we don't have time to read all because you are not the only employee and you are not the only applicant. Okay, Hidayah, does internship count as well? Yes, internship count. You should write internship. Maybe you should write internship at what, doing what, and which year. I put that inside my resume. Maybe it doesn't really show just now. What are different between resume and portfolio? Portfolio. Or portfolio, I'm not really sure, but portfolio is the longer version. Okay, resume is the brief version. Portfolio maybe more or less is about CV, like a CV. If I work for 3 months, can I include in the work experience? Yes, of course, you can work. You work in 3 months, you can also put every experience counted, but select the best one. Okay, if this 3 months is still the best one, put there. Okay. Hi, hello, Dr. Hi, Aisha. I have 2 questions related to applicant tracking system. Do you have any initiative to decrease the priority for our resume to be scored or rated less by the system? I don't know what system is this. What is your opinion on some ATS checker? Are the online ATS checker reliable? Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't really know what this ATS, but I think this is automated system to actually filter resume. Okay. So this one we cannot control because this criteria is based on what have been said by the employer. For example, I'm not sure. Let's say JobStreet. Okay, let's say JobStreet have this feature. They control what is needed or what is not good or considered not good in resume. Okay, we cannot do anything because this is system. Okay, but if you want to go around it, you can manually email the company. Because when you email the company, there is always contact us or HR. Okay. HR, human resource, okay? You can contact them. System we cannot control because even if I advise you and let's say you get the best resume, but if the system doesn't grade you good, you still not pass through it. So if there is system blocking you like this, you better try something else, okay? Would you recommend the cover letter to be attached together with your resume in one document during application? No, separate. And then actually when you write the email, you put the content of the cover letter inside the email, and of course you attach together in the attachment the cover letter, but don't put it with resume. Okay, sometimes they just want to see resume. Okay, they just want to see resume, the pile of resume. Okay, can we put our final year project and journal application in our resume? And if we put our personal, okay, so you can put your final project. I put just now in my resume. I put my final year project, my master. Okay, and journal publication you can put, but like this, you can see here. I have 70 journal. I have 70 article. I don't put all. If I put all, can you see how? If I put all, people will vomit seeing my resume. Sorry, I have to be true. To be honest, when industry are seeing your resume, okay, depending on your job, if most probably maybe they don't interested with your paper. This is I'm to be honest. Depend. Let's say you are applying for quality engineer, maybe they are not interested with how many journal you achieve. But if you applying for example, research engineer, they would like to see this. Okay. But don't put all. Just do like me. I put here 70 articles. Sorry, this one is not updated. 70 articles. How many journal? How many conference? How many impact factor? And selected. And better to put selected is the main publication. Okay, main publication. This one also not yet updated. Sorry. Okay. So you just put your main publication. Don't put your co-author publication because people know co-author publication is not you writing. It's somebody else writing. You are inside there assisting the progressing of the journal or article, whatever. Okay. Good afternoon, Dr. Ami. May I ask if I got set for certain language, which part should I put? Oh, okay. I will show. Okay, actually, this language you should put inside the key skill because it's skill, but that is not key skill, but it's not together with your degree certificate. Okay. Sorry, let me show. Here, if you have language certificate, you just put after general information, you put key skill, then you put your language here, French language, Japanese, Mandarin. Okay, it's okay if you don't really remember your language like mine. I don't practice, so how can I remember? I don't really practice, okay, because I'm coming back from Malaysia to Malaysia. For example, French. I don't really speak French already now. Okay, so more or less I forget it. But it's good if you put there, people know your effort. Okay. Next question. How Nurul Aliani, do I need to put curriculum that only have certificate? Not really. Okay. Actually, people want to know what skill you have. But if you have something that with certificate is better. Why? Because we never know if the company asks for it. If the company asks, what is the do you have certificate? Then if you don't have, you are in trouble. Okay. How do you count? How do you count the year of work experience? Example, I have worked for 6 months on 2004, then another 6 months, then okay. So you just be honest. You just put inside your resume, Islin, from what month to what month what is your job? From what month to what month? Okay. For example, here I'm very honest. Okay. I didn't create stories. Okay. I also as employer. Okay. I mean as an applicant. Employer side, we also know the applicant are trying to make stories, means try to make themselves look good, but maybe no. Okay, people we can see because sometimes maybe for example, let's say I just try to be honest. Let's say you only have 4 months of internship in 2020, 4 months, but you claim you have internship in 2020. It's wrong because if you mention only 2020 means that you claim you have 1 year of internship, which is wrong. It's not honest. Okay. And then the what question? Oh, lot of question. Thank you. If I have position in your question, okay, this one. Okay, I'm sorry for asking how to put data entry in our resume as our work experience. I don't know how to describe my job. Oh, just put data entry. No, Farisha, just put data entry because if people ask you. And if they not sure, you just put data entry, okay? Data entry job, okay? I think this one is data entry, for example, to Excel, something like that. And then after that, Abdul Kadir, sir, if I'm fresh graduate with no working experience, what do I put in experience section? Because if I keep it, okay, just like I told you guys, you can put your internship, you can put your final year project. You see here, I put my final year project. Do you guys see this? Where is my pointer? You see, I put my final year project. Okay. And I put my master project. And you could put your internship here as well. I'm not sure. I put or not. Because if I put, it become more, but it's okay. But internship can be put as well. I think I put just at the separate section. Okay. But you can put. Okay. That is question. Tatsara required to put all my membership number in resume. Membership, depend. If you're applying for academic, you need to put in a membership. Okay. Okay. What else? What else? So just for clarification, CV is the longer version. Okay, Farid, yes, CV is the complete version of whatever you are doing with your life. Okay, whatever you have doing, whatever you have achieved in your life. It can be 20 pages, 30 pages even. Okay, but but resume should be shorter version and should be only represent the best selected version of you. Okay. And then one Nurhanisa, hi doctor, what if I didn't do internship? So what else should I put my experience? Part-time job. You are selling shoes, you just put, okay? Don't worry. It's all experience counted is better than nothing, okay? Can I see the achievement part of the resume? Achievement part. Nur Atira. This is achievement. I think this one, okay. This one selected, okay. This achievement, competition, curriculum, okay. This is also achievement, okay. And then Fifi, hi sir, for job application, should we combine our cover letter together with resume? Separate, okay? This one is already separate. It's prefer separate because sometimes when the employer compiling your things, they just want resume, okay? Oh, a lot of question. Wait. Good afternoon, Miss.
We have 5 minutes remaining to wrap up the presentation. I'm very sorry.
I'm very sorry for the student for asking. Okay, whoever that I didn't answer your question, you can contact me at LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn. my LinkedIn here. Okay, I put at the Zoom. Okay, so now I'm going to show my resume, the complete one. Okay. Oh my God, we don't have. Oh, I think we need more time next time. Yes. Okay, I'm showing you guys the complete version of the resume. Okay. Do you guys see this, Jessima? Is it clear?
It's a bit small. Can you please zoom in a bit? Yes, now it's clear.
Okay. So okay, guys. You guys can okay, you guys can ask me in LinkedIn. Okay, I'm there. Okay, so you see, this is my resume. Okay, the complete one. You see, I have my photo, my name, my personal statement, my key skill, including language, my education, my experience, not in detail but very brief, and then final project, research and teaching experience. I put my internship here. Okay, I put my internship here. Okay, I put my internship here. Selected curricular, personal interest, and then what I like to do, for example, traveling, reading, voluntary. Okay, when you put you like voluntary, maybe they say, oh, this, they will see whatever skills that they want to see. You say, you need to just mention all, and then research, publication, and then referees. Referees, you need to put your referees a minimum of 2 and maximum of 3. Why? Because they need to contact somebody to claim your to verify your claim. I'm good at this. I'm good at what? Okay, but this person should able to give good impression about you. You don't put your enemy as referee. Okay. Okay. Yes, I do. I edit by myself, Putri. Okay. I want to ask that most of European countries assume PhD graduate overqualified. Can we skip from that and just mention we were graduated researcher in that period to avoid gap? Okay. Actually, the company, they know. You just put. If they say you are overskilled, nothing we can do, because if you didn't put, the company will ask you what you have been doing in these 3 years. If you say I'm just doing research job, for example, they will ask, okay, research job. Let's say you want to play around, you say research assistant. They will want to see your salary slip or salary statement or document to prove that you are a research assistant. If they found out that you are lying, then finish everything. Okay, so it's better to be honest. Okay. I think I cannot answer all. Thank you very much. This is a lot of questions. I'm very happy to see, but I cannot answer all now. You guys can ask me at LinkedIn, okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Raimi Dewan, for a very interactive and interesting session. Okay, now let us all take a picture together for a moment. I would like to invite Mr. Zohrul to take over the photo shooting session.
All right, thank you, Jessima. Now let's take another quick group photos with our honorable speakers. Please switch on your camera. I'll be counting from 3 to 1. So be ready. All right, so I'm counting 3, 2, 1. Please keep calm until I say done. All right, thank you. I have captured all the beautiful smile. So now I will pass to the MC.
Okay, thank you again to Dr. Raimi Dewan for a very wonderful and interactive presentation. Before we go on with our program, I would like to remind our audience to fill the attendance and feedback form that is given in the chat box. The certificate will be generated based on the form. Before we move on to our next agenda, let us take a 5 minutes break and watch videos prepared by our team.
Hi, do you know why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals early in our career? Well, what is IEEE Young Professionals and how can it help us? IEEE Young Professionals is an international community of enthusiastic, dynamic, and innovative members and volunteers. Any IEEE member can be a young professional, and any member who received their first professional degree within the last 15 years is automatically considered a YP. Now, IEEE Young Professionals is bigger than you may think. It is one community in 10 regions across 183 affinity groups and more than 120,000 members around the world. So, why should we engage with IEEE Young Professionals, you ask? It is a place to connect and network with other professionals, enrich our career and personal lives, and participate in social events and activities. We can participate in many professional networks such as IEEE Collaboratech, IEEE email account via Google Apps, and take part in local meetings and online activities such as conferences and job fairs. We can also access the IEEE Center for Leadership Excellence for on-demand content. This really is an excellent resource to equip us with professional development skills. The benefits go on and on, particularly for young professionals early in our career as well as students. We can enhance our technical skills by accessing eBook Classics, IEEE Member Digital Library, Spectrum and Potential Magazine, IEEE Explore, conferences, and more. Look, the bottom line is this. We can participate in exciting local events and global webinars for topics such as assessing emotional intelligence, fundamentals for leadership and ethics, heroes networking for engineers, survival guide for scientific writing, conflict management, negotiation tactic, and others. For all these great reasons, engaging with IEEE Young Professionals may be one of the best decisions that we can make in our personal lives and professional career development. That is why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals.
Welcome back, fellow audience. We will continue our agenda for today with the workshop with the topic of Project Management, Fundamentals, Tools and Techniques by Associate Professor Dr. Shahrinas binti Ismail. Associate Professor Dr. Shahrinas Ismail received her Bachelor of Applied Science from University Science Malaysia. She was awarded with Master in Science, IT in Business by University of Lincoln, United Kingdom. She pursued her PhD shortly after joining the academic world and graduated with PhD in ICT. Today, she is an Associate Professor at University Malaysia of Computer Science and Engineering, Cyberjaya. In IEEE, Associate Professor Dr. Shahrinas received her recognition as senior member in 2020 after few years of service as member. Before we go on, I would like to remind our audience that we will take a group photo by the end of this talk. So prepare yourself and open your cameras after this talk. Without waiting any longer, let us invite Associate Professor Dr. Shahrinas Ismail to the virtual stage. The stage is yours.
Thank you, MC. Hello everyone. Very good afternoon, almost evening in some places. I hope everyone can hear me very well. So allow me to share my screen. Hold on, yeah. Okay, I think, yeah. All right. Okay, so allow me to hope you can see me. So I'm not sure how to reduce this. Okay, all right. So my name is Shahrinas. I've been around in the industry for like 8.5 years, managing projects in the IT industry for construction. We were actually software developers in PJ, Petaling Jaya, Malaysia. And during that 8 years of service, I had just a little bit background myself. I was involved from the prototype design to designing of the website to multimedia design, even up to the implementation of the intranet system infrastructure for the company. And then I had to go to every branch offices to train everyone, every employee that we have around Malaysia on how to use the system until the stage of technical documentation, testing the software, and even up to training and training as well, and a little bit of customer service here and there. So basically, the experience that I had was quite a lot within the 8 years before I joined the academic. But what I'm going to share with you today is more on the project management. What are the key things that you need to know if you happen to be a project manager one day or project team leader? There are things that you need to be confident of and know what to do. All right, so let us look at the fundamentals, tools and techniques. Not much on the tools and techniques, but more on the fundamentals, but we will go through along the way. So basically the outline, we will look into the project and project management, what is there to manage in projects. And the important fundamental here is the triple constraint. What are they? And you have to know about project phases, what they are, and what are the deliverables of these phases. And the most big thing about project management is the plan itself, because the rule of thumb is 80% planning, 20% execution, in which you really have to pay a lot of time. You have to sacrifice a lot of time in planning so that the whole implementation goes well. And then we will look at tools and techniques, a little bit of demo, inshallah, if I can get the hook of it. And I would like to share in the end all the snapshots that I've got from the internet on the tools available for project management. So if I could not demo fully, at least I tell you what is there out there, which you can also experiment on your own, or you can always communicate back to me if you need more information about it. So what is project? Project by definition, if you are familiar with project management when you were doing your degree or your master, the word used by Project Management Institute is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product service or result. So usually a project is something that is not a routine, and it is always unique when you started to be involved in one, or when you are being appointed or assigned to a project. It is usually something new that was never done before. In other words, it is so unique that you have to come up with your own you have to come up with how to go about it, how to manage it, how to start, how to work on it, how to end, what to monitor, what to take into account, and etc. So the keyword here is project is temporary and unique. Therefore, the management of the project has to be very, very detailed, thorough, and focused. All right. So, if, for example, if you say construction industry, they have the project of building one building, and another building is totally different in a lot of ways. They may look similar, but they are different in a lot of ways. Therefore, each construction project is called a project. The same thing with website development. Even though the content or the details or the work could be similar or could be the same, but when you do a project for a website design project for one company or one client, it will be different than the other. So that's the meaning of project overall. Okay, so it is actually a unique field in every industry. No matter where you go, you will have a project to manage. Even if you are in hospital, there is a project management as well. And I liaised with the hospital Kuala Lumpur before, and I got to know that they have a special task force to do certain projects at one time at a time, one project at a time, depending on the vision and mission that they had. So what is it to manage in a project? A very quick run on this. What you manage is the integration between all the activities that are going on in there. If you manage people, what would that people or what would that teammates of yours be working on? What work it is? What is the breakdown of the work? How long does it take? That is really on the time, and according to the time, how long it takes to do certain work, how much you have to pay him, at what rate. So each and everything in a project are integrated, are linked with each other. You cannot simply delegate your people to say, okay, you look at the time and budget, you look at the time schedule, and this person go and look at the scope, another person look at the cost and the cost and budget. No, you can't do that. I know that probably during university days, when you get group projects, you divide the delegation of tasks like that. No, that's not the way you work in a real project in the industry. You have to work together. If you have to brainstorm, put it in post-it note. You put in post-it notes on the board, rearrange the order of the work that you need to do from beginning until the end, and so on and so forth. I can go into detail, but let me try to run through first here. And then we have scope. Why scope needs to be managed? If you are still fresh from your undergraduate, if you still remember your final year project, every time when you meet your supervisor, I'm not sure, probably yes, probably no. If no, it will be a blessing to you. There are times when every time you meet your supervisor, and then he or she will feel like, oh, you are progressing well. Okay, let us add another feature. And then another 2 months you meet them and you say, oh, let's add another feature. Okay, when you started to have features creeping in one by one throughout the timeline, it will already be a lot of risk for your timeline. So you won't be able to finish your project in time. Okay, so that is one thing that you have to look at. That's the risk, the challenges and all. So how do you overcome things like that? You need to have a well communication management with your supervisor or your client or your vendor, depending on your situation. Okay, so roughly these are the knowledge areas that you need: the integration, scope, schedule, cost, resource, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholder. I can go through one by one, but let us look at the fundamental theory behind all this. Yeah? Okay, this is a very important principle in project management. When you manage a project, usually when you receive a job from your client or from your boss, your employer, they will say, okay, I need this to be done within 3 months. And if if your employer or your client only stated the time, and it doesn't really matter how much it costs, it doesn't really matter how small or big the scope is, but as long as you can finish it in 3 months, then the main thing you have in mind as a driver is the time. Okay, but there are cases whereby the scope has to be very clear in terms of quality. You are looking at quality as the main driver, then the time cannot be very limited. Okay, that's where you need to bargain with your client. And when you say the quality is important, the cost may not be as small as what they have in mind initially. So this is what we call triple constraint. If you increase or if you add on a lot of scope, you may affect the timeline and you may affect the budget for that project. And if you are looking at the time, you want the time to be limited, then the scope cannot be too much. You cannot do too many things, and the cost might be also a lot if the scope is more, but the time is limited. All right, so these are the 3 angles that you look at. And of course, if money is an issue, if the budget is tight, because sometimes clients say, I don't care how you do it, but my budget is only 1,000. So 1,000, what can you do in how long, right? So if the budget is limited, then you might want, you have to plan well so that the scope and time can be appropriate with that cost that they want, right? Okay, a very quick run here. I'm not sure how to hide this. Okay, never mind. So there are 5 main phases in project management. The first thing is initiate. The first one, it is about understanding the project goals, deadlines, priorities, and associated risks. And then we go to planning, overview of tasks and timeline needed to execute the project. And then we execute the project. And then along the whole time, you have to monitor and control. Even though it is put as the fourth step in the project management, it's actually covering the whole thing, right? And eventually closing. Okay, please remember, project is a temporary endeavor, meaning that it has to have an end. If it doesn't have an end, it's not a project, it's a lifetime commitment. It sounds like marriage to me, but yeah, marriage can also be a project. Okay, I'm not going into that. That's not my line. So coming back to here, so when there is one phase called closing where you have to tidy up everything. You have to make sure that the client is happy with what you deliver. They pay you. If they don't pay you, it's another different question. And then you hand over everything that you have done because it's their copyright. All right, so project management is like that. Okay, let me go back to the initiating phase. Initiating phase is where the idea first came up, right? Let's say a client come to you, discuss with you, hey, I want this website to be developed within 3 months time. Can you do it within 5,000 budget and all? So you go back and then you can't say no, you can't say yes totally yet because you need to plan it first. So you go back and then you plan it, and then you go for the second kickoff meeting. You call them up, call everyone who might be involved in initial phase to agree on what to focus, what can be done within what time and what cost. So before you start any planning, before you start any layout diagrams or any sketches or how the project will look like and everything, the initiating part is actually where you knot the deal, right? You get the deal, okay? You tie the knot there. After that, then when you start planning and all, and planning is actually the most important part, because if you plan well, the rest of your project management, inshallah, will go well. But if you do not plan it tightly, if you do not turn every stone, all right, then it would be, it will have a loop here and there that will invite some risks and challenges within the project timeline. Okay. And if, let's say, during the planning, you realize that, hey, I think there will be a risk here, but I'm not sure how to measure it. So you put it, you should have certain metrics saying that, okay, the risk of being delayed, the possibility of it happen will be high, but you have to have some sort of priority list, and which one goes first, which one is more important to deal with than the next and next and next. So basically everything has to be planned out well in planning. All right. Okay. When you go through all the phases, I will link this to the tools and techniques. Don't worry about that. When you go through all these phases, you might be wondering, what is it that you do in every of these phases, and what is it that you deliver? Okay, so the deliverables would be the output of each and every phase. So for example, in initiating just now, what you produce is a project charter. Project charter is something that everybody in that kick-off meeting agree that this is a project. It will finish in 3 months, and it will only have a budget of 1,000, and the key people is who, and who, right? Something like that. Okay, and once you go into planning, the main thing about the phase is to produce a project management plan. The name project management plan does not mean one document or one single page. Yeah, it means a lot of documents that relate to that plan. So project management plan is something like a master plan, the master list or the master file that you have, and it will link to every other files that you have. So that's the important part of the whole project management. So you might be wondering what would be included in project management plan. Definitely everything that relates to integration, cost, time, schedule, and etc. Okay, we will go into that. After that, we go into execution, where what you can only do at that time is to update status. Okay, for example, every week, if you are familiar with working in companies that have frequent meetings, they will have meetings at the unit level, the department level, and then the branch level, and then the HQ level. And it's the same thing with this if you want it to be that closely monitored. Right? For example, you have a status update of daily and then weekly and so on and so forth. What kind of status updates? For example, if you have like 5 people working for you, 2 of them are designers, 3 of them are programmers, and then you have another one which whom you employ in the middle of the project to do the documentation part, then they have to always update you their progress. You will have the time chart. You will have the Gantt chart, the timeline, and they should monitor their work. You also need to monitor their work based on that timeline. So for example, by the time after 1 week, hey, you should deliver me this particular interface layout already. So what is the progress now? Okay, so and then that fellow will just update the status and all. Yes, you can do everything online nowadays, but then again, the thing that moves a project is people. So at the end of the day, you have to know how to manage people. Okay, so when we talk about managing people, there we have here stakeholder communication under phase 3. Stakeholder communication, you have to know who are the stakeholders. Stakeholders include your team members, let's say the 5 people working in your project, you yourself as project manager. I assume that you are project managers, yeah. And then you have the project sponsors. It could be your CEO or somebody with the money who fund your project. You also have your vendor, your client, and even if you have to go get feedback from your user, you will also have your user as well. Okay, sometimes the clients are the user, sometimes the client is the person who use, but the audience, the big market is actually someone else. So yeah, you have to really identify who they are. And when you say stakeholder communications, it doesn't mean that every week or every day you have to tell the CEO or the funder, oh, we are already progressing with the coding. Oh, we are already launched the project. Oh, we've already uploaded in the web host server. No, they won't be interested in that frequently because they have every other jobs in their hands, right? So you have to have a list again in the stakeholder communication list, who they are, what position they are, how to communicate with them, and how often you should communicate with them. They might just need an email, all right, or they prefer to have a meeting. So you might have like monthly meeting or quarterly meeting, depending on the level of authority that they have as well. If it's really important for them to be updated on the budget and expenses, probably you have more often meeting with them, all right? Monitoring and controlling, while everything is going on, then you have to do the monitoring part. For example, in the planning, you have done the timeline, you have done the Gantt chart, you have said that, okay, for this project, for this particular task, the work that has to be done, it will take 5 days. And that 5 days, we cannot finish it in 5 days. Including the buffer is already 5 days, but cannot complete it in 5 days because the person who is doing the coding part, let's say it's a coding job, he fell sick for 2 days, so it's already a delayed 2 days by right. So when this kind of thing happen, you have to look back at the schedule and you have to see how to make the adjustment. All right. So all these are part of monitoring and controlling. It's not just the schedule, but also the money. All right. Money talks, yeah, everyone. And so on and so forth. You might have further analysis if the project is really big. You have some kind of charts and all that. I'm not going into that. And the last part is final reporting, which is actually basically compiling the whole thing and close the deal, right? Let me show you the screenshots of the deliverables that are supposed to be produced during the project management plan. Okay, so in project management plan, we have a scope statement. Why do we need this? Scope statement is something that you refer to again and again throughout the whole project. It's something like an SOP. It's something like standard of procedure, whereby if you are in doubt, like say you feel that you are a little bit delayed, you feel that I have 30 more minutes, I did. Okay, let's say you are a little bit delayed, or you are not sure, somebody come to you and say, the client comes to you and say you want to add a feature. You have to refer to the scope statement again. Is it in the scope statement that we promise to deliver that with this particular feature? If not, then you have to have a communication back to the client, talk about it talk over about it, and get them to understand that, hey, this is not part of the scope. If you really want this, it will add on to the timeline for another 3 weeks, and it will add on another cost like another 3,000. So the moment you start bargaining like that, the client will say, okay, never mind, let's stick to the scope. So scope statement is very, very important. How does it look like? Roughly, it is a document with all these cells and tables and all, and it states clearly what should be there, what are the important ones, and what would be the objective, and so on and so forth. All right, and usually we don't touch the scope statement anymore unless it is really, really necessary. If the project is very big, probably once or twice they will revisit the scope statement and they add in addendum. All right, so any changes will be something extra to it. Okay, stakeholder list is basically what I mentioned earlier. You have the role, you have the contact, you have the category, interest, and so on. And whether or not you can talk to them or update them, okay? Because otherwise, it will be everyone want to talk to the CEO for every little thing. So that is not really right. And for each and every member in this stakeholder list, they prefer a different communication requirements. They prefer email and phone call, or they prefer meeting. So you have to jot it down. All right. And you also need to mention in this particular table as well what is the authority that they have. All right. For example, if he is the funder, then anything to do with budget, you have to refer to the person. You have to update them. All right. Something like that. Okay, this is basically what you do as a project manager, especially when you are already clear about the time and clear about the funding and all, and in which you have to break down the work. So, for example, if you do website development, you have a designing stage, you have a development stage, you probably have an analysis stage first. You go and analyze what are the needs of the market and all, and etc. and so forth. When you say design, it's not just design. No, it has a breakdown. First, you have to do okay. If it's an animation project, it would be like you have a background, a person in charge of the background of the scenarios, and then you have a storyboard building, and then you have a character building, character building. You have to draw the wireframe first. If it's 3D or 2D, you have to draw the wireframe first, and then you draw, and then you decide on the theme, the coloring. A lot of things need to be done. Those are the things that you break down in the task list. And if it's a huge team, then each and every one of them will have a certain task that they need to do. Right, so you have to jot down everything, and especially if your project is virtual, meaning that everyone works everywhere, then you have to be very clear where they are and what kind of condition that they have, and etc. Okay, basically, this is how a Gantt chart looks like, and it has two sides of it. The left part is the task list or the work breakdown. So if you notice this, each and every work has the main header, and then it has a breakdown, meaning that depending on the job, if you have a lot of tasks underneath that one work, you have to have a proper breakdown for it. And for each breakdown of it, you have the timeline on the right side, the one with the colored bar. You have the start and date finish, and you have to estimate how long each work is taken. All right. For example, here it mentioned about installing a conduit. It will take 3 days. 3 days is from what date to what date, and who is in charge. So this particular Gantt chart already has everything in here. Okay. It has it has the work breakdown. It has the timeline. Plus, it has the person in charge of that job. If it's 2 people, you might put there 2 persons' name. This one, it just mentioned, it doesn't mention, it mentioned here the resource. It doesn't mention the name, but you can change it to a name of the person in charge, right? Cost and budget. Okay, when you look at the timeline, did you notice that on the right side, they have April, May, June, July, August, which is the calendar itself. So in the cost and budget, you have to also break it down according to April, May, July, and so on and so forth. I'm sorry, I don't have 2 related diagrams here, but in general, what I'm trying to say is when you plan for the whole project, you look at every month, if possible every month, and identify when are you going to purchase this item. For example, you need to purchase a hardware. When will you need to purchase that hardware? Oh, it will be the second month. You don't need it in the first month because you are doing the design work first, but you need it in the second month. To purchase the hardware will take some time. Sometimes a purchasing of hardware itself is a project. For example, in our university, the previous university I'm working with, the IT department has a special project of installing 120 desktop computers in 4 computer labs at level 7. This is UniKL, all right? I still remember. So when do they do that? They only have 1 month, if I'm not mistaken, to do the whole installation. But it doesn't mean, because 1 month is when the students are not available, so they can do the whole thing one shot. But 1 month is for installation alone. They have to purchase it earlier, so they have to plan ahead when they should purchase it. Who is the vendor? They have to decide on the vendor first, etc., etc., etc. And then while installation, they may also need to purchase other things as well, and so on and so forth. So each breakdown needs to be there. Okay, in here, it doesn't include the salary of the person. I'm sorry, I can't find the old file that I had. It actually includes the manpower salary, the job itself, how much it costs for each and every item, and if it's an IT project, it would have a software, software costing, hardware costing, web hosting, and so on and so forth. Right? So that would be a nicer view. You may not have every month to spend on the same thing. You might have like the beginning, the middle, the end, right? For example, if it's a salary of a person, if he worked with your for your project for 3 months, then he only have a salary for 3 months under your project. The 4th month, he might join another project, so you don't have to include him in there. All right, so something like that, right? Quality standards, yes, for each and every work you do, you need to have certain quality, certain form that you want everyone to agree on, and everyone can evaluate in terms of quality of what you are doing. All right. I don't think I have enough time to cover all, but roughly here it is. And project team, you have to be very clear who are the project team members, including project manager and everyone else who are helping or supporting the team. Vendors, if you deal with vendors, definitely whatever you do which costs money, it also require you to purchase things, yeah, like computer, hardware, web hosting service, or probably cables, things like that. For computer engineering, or if you are developing robotics system or IoT and all, definitely you have a lot of money, little things as well that you need to purchase and so on and so forth. So you need to decide which vendor is the best, and you have your own evaluation criteria for that. So you can create a template like this. I just let you view all the possible diagrams that are available. You can get it a lot in online actually. You can Google it all the way actually. Okay, for tools and techniques, I wanted to show you more, but roughly you need to understand that whatever you plan from beginning to end, in terms of integration, scope, schedule, cost, resource, computation, risk, procurement, stakeholder, you also need to monitor them. So the most simple thing that you need is a Gantt chart. If you can do more like a Kanban, agile method, system, collaboration tools, go ahead. But Gantt chart is like a Bible to the project manager. Sorry if you are not agreeing with me, but that's what I can say. It's like a master list where you refer to. Even when I was doing PhD, I'm not bragging, but I'm just telling you, even when I was doing my PhD, because I did my PhD part-time, meaning that I was teaching while I study, whenever I remembered, I just look at the Gantt chart. Hey, I'm supposed to do the survey by next month, so I will quickly do the work need to be done to do the survey. No, so the Gantt chart actually helps me a lot. That's how I manage my time. And even today, I still use Gantt chart for myself, whatever personal project that I have, whatever personal life that I'm trying to manage, including my research work, projects with my collaborative, with my friends from another company. We have projects going on as well. So there are a lot. Okay, but I'm like I said, I do a lot of things, but I don't have one center point where I collaborate everything in one. Okay, a very quick run. And if we have the time, I will show you a little bit of demo on what I have downloaded just now. Okay, there are quite a number of tools out there, and each and every one have different scope or different features. So you have to be careful if you choose the tools out there. Yeah? Okay, let us go through one by one first. Nifty. Nifty is a Kanban and list view. If you are the type of person who like to visualize everything from the word view, meaning that in one view you want to see, oh, what's my milestone, what's my task, what are the files that is shared, who is saying what, so you might go for Nifty. It has a Kanban view, list view, and it actually links with the calendar. So when it links with the calendar, it somehow shows the progress, what is going on. right? For example, you have a meeting when, and then somebody said what, when is this person replied to this email or things like that. So it has that particular thread. But this is, I believe this is for the monitoring and controlling of the whole execution lah. It can be integrated with Google if you want to go for something simple where you don't have to purchase an expensive software and all, then you can go for that. Okay. Important thing here is file and document sharing, because at the end of the day, we have to digitalize everything that we do. So yeah, file and document sharing is the must in almost every project management tools that you can find. Teamwork.com, it has task management, milestone, messaging, file storage, time tracking tools, Gantt chart. So if I were you, if I go through the features, I will look for Gantt chart first. Because if they can link everything from Gantt chart, it's heaven already. All right, and it has its own reporting setup as well. Okay, don't forget, remember when I show you all the snapshots on the diagrams that you need for the project management plan, you have scope statements, stakeholder list and everything. Those are actually templates that you can build for your project. So if you are in if the moment you have experience managing a few projects, you get the hook of it, you will have your own template. And if you find a tool that can create that template, that will be beautiful, because you can customize your template, then everyone can use it live online, right? On the left side, the green colored one is Proof Hub. It is preferred to be for growing business. And on the right side is Go Project. This is actually quite good because it has a Gantt chart in the calendar view, and it also links with the mobile app if I'm not mistaken, because it will alert people on what is going on and all. Trello is very famous. Trello and Monday.com, I always hear their bump into their advertisement here and there. Trello is again like a Kanban tool, if you are familiar with the Kanban tool. And again, it looks at the bird view, right? And you can actually customize it to show according to tasks if you want to. Okay. We have Jira, a little bit different, but Jira is more like for agile reporting in real time. So if you are into that, you might want to have a look at that. It also has an API that connects to third-party software as well. So it mentioned that it has a feature of customizable Scrum board. So if you are into that, because I know engineers have their own techniques and tools that you are familiar with, and you are looking for software for that, so probably Jira is the one for you. Okay, Monday.com, as I mentioned, there's a lot of advertisement there on that. It's for personal workflow as well as putting the priority and also updating status. If you see the colors there, green for something that is already done, yellow is for something that is ongoing, and red is not yet done or stuck, or however you want to call it. Okay. Right is also a known one to me. I remember my student used Right before. It actually integrates with Google Apps, Microsoft Excel, Dropbox, and etc. And on the left side is HubStuff. HubStuff is more on automated workflows. Again, it is focused on the task itself, so you can't really see the timeline, but you can see the week-based whether it's done or not. All right. Oh, I love this one, Liquid Planner. It looks beautiful and you can see everybody's face there, meaning that for each and every project, it's a small box there, and it even shows who's in charge with a picture there, and it also have the indicator color, red for stuck, green for done, or things like that. And it is again a bird view, and you can filter the view as you go along. Team Gun is definitely a Gantt chart software. And it caters to small business, easy to set up. And yes, one thing about Gantt chart, if you are not using Excel, if you use Excel, you have to customize a lot of things. You have to update a lot of things. But if you already have something that is online, most of the time you have to pay for it. You can just use the button that available there to actually change the status to done or 50% or things like that, just like how you use Microsoft projects, right? There's something called backlog. It looks a little bit like dashboard, and also the scallop six, which is usually used by big companies to manage multiple projects at one time. I'm showing all this to you, not just to have an overall view, because when you join a company, they might use different tools, and the concept behind it is the same, managing project. It's just a matter of what you can view would be different. Okay. I think I still have like 5-10 minutes more, so I can show you a quick run on the template. But before I go to that, a quick take up from me. There are many tools out there. Find one with features that you really need for your effective project management. And with experience, along how many years that you manage project, you will get the feel of your own technique and upgrade your skill. So again, we are humans. I don't believe in relying on technology 100% because things change, right? Things change and you have a lot of challenges along the way. So it is human that makes the technology and tools. So don't make them rule you. You can decide which tool you want to use, all right? I never really restrain myself from any kind of tool that I want to use. Okay, a quick run. I'm not sure. Oh, I cannot switch on that one. Okay, I'll show you what I have downloaded. You can just search and you might find templates that are available, made available by Microsoft themselves. They have a few templates. Basically, it is a simple thing. It is the same thing. If you look for Gantt chart, you will have a normal thing like project title, who is the leader and all. And this is where you break it down, right? You break down the work that you need to do. So if let's say the first task the big task that you have is information gathering and planning, followed by design, followed by coding and testing, followed by content writing and assembly, then this will be your main task. Okay, there are templates that can collapse and expand. So choose whichever you want, but the lighter the better, because you don't know how much long you are going to key in, right? So under each and every phase that you have, you may follow the same phase as the project management phase, which is initiating, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling. You can also do that. There are many ways, and they are not rigid to only the PMP style, right? So let's say under information gathering and planning, you have purpose, main goals, and target audience, meaning that you have to sit down and decide or do a market study to define this, all right? Let's say that is the job. So you have decided that the person to lead this part is who? Okay, if you are doing on your own, everything is on you. Sorry about that. And you can mention that when is the start and when is the date. And for a template that is automated, it will automatically draw for you the colored bars, all right? And definitely it will have, if it has a progress column, whenever you update the progress column, it will update the color here as well. So even if you look at it in a zoom out view, the moment you see the colored bars, you will know whether each and every task is progressing or not, or almost complete, or things like that, because the color really play a huge role here, all right? And so on and so forth until you get to the end. Okay, this is just downloaded, so I did not customize it much yet. I just want to show you the available ones, right? Okay, this one is much more simpler, but if it doesn't have a breakdown, if you can add your own breakdown, it will be wonderful. But if it doesn't have a breakdown for each and every activity, usually it is for personal project. That's what I can say, because when you on your own working on one project, then you will know that these are all my activities. All right. But you can find a software, PM software, that has a collaboration tool, meaning that when you as a project manager update the work breakdown and everything, you can share with your team members, and they can view their part and they will update their part. They won't disturb other people's one. And the moment they update their part, saying that, okay, I have progressed 50% after 2 days, then it will be updated to you as well. Usually it is cloud-based, and if you have a big team, probably you need that. Okay, okay, this is the last example I can show you. Again, it has a main title and it has a task underneath it, and you just need to, you may want to add a category for it. This one with an example of category. Okay, and color, again, color plays an important role. So for some template, they have a different color to indicate different things. And for example, this one, it mentioned here that it is in color, I would prefer red if it's really important. It says here high risk. Okay, in a project, you might have one path. I have to call you all for a lecture if I want to talk about this. There is one thing called critical path, and that critical path can be colored as purple if you use this particular template. All right, so that's what it means here. And yeah, the green one is on track, and so on and so forth, right? And if you are not so familiar with the Gantt chart, this is actually a milestone. And milestone normally we put when we want to do a meeting or when we want to do a check-in on that particular date. So we put a milestone there. So if you have a meeting with client every week, then you put a milestone each and every week of that particular one day that you have determined with your client. Okay, I think I better open for questions lah. Too quiet. Can I have a question?
Yeah. Doctor, we have several questions actually.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. But may I read the first one that's sent to me? Okay, so the first one is, what steps should be taken and on what parameters we should focus more on to make a project a successful one?
What should be focused? Okay, when you, if you still remember the triple constraint I talked about just now, you have to have one of them as a driver. Driver means that's your focus. So if your focus is quality, you go for the scope, regardless of time and cost. Because if your client or you yourself really want to go for a good quality, therefore you have to sacrifice the time, you have to sacrifice the money. And if the client really wants for quality, by right, they don't care how much it costs as long as it's the quality is what they want. And of course, if the moment your client comes to you or you yourself already constrained, saying that my budget is only $3,000, I cannot go beyond that. So that will be your driver. What can you do with 3,000? So it's like a reverse engineering. You have the money, only that much. So what can you do with that? That's it. Right? So that's why sometimes when you ask the vendor if you want to develop a website or anything, they will ask you your budget first, and then they come up with a plan. So this is only what you can get if your budget is only this much, or your time is only this much. All right. But if you open up to them saying that you just propose to me a quotation and I will look at it without giving them any budget constraint, then they will give you like 50,000 cost of website design. Believe me, I've been there. Okay, so yeah, you have to hold on to one thing to be your driver. Okay, next. I hope I answered.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next question would be quite a long question from Dr. Raini Dewan. So
he can email me lah. I think let's just focus on our young one first, can
So would you like to answer the question or would you like to skip to other questions first?
Other questions first then.
Okay. So a question from Hani. In your personal opinion, how frequent should Scrum meetings or project progress meetings be?
Come again? Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Oh, it's okay. Okay, in your personal opinion, how frequent should Scrum meetings or project progress meetings be?
Okay, depending on the how to say the urgency of that particular project. And I'm talking here regardless whether it's Scrum or not. In general, if it's really, really vital for you to have frequent meetings, then you have to have frequent meetings. I still remember back in my old days, software development. I stopped my share. During project development, during the beginning time, the meeting was very frequent, and then towards the middle, because it was development time and everybody is working ongoingly, we will only have weekly meetings or weekly updates within the team. But towards the end, we will have more frequent meetings, like almost daily, especially during debugging and controlling and things like that. I hope I answered that.
Okay, so next question would be Salam. Hi, Doctor. Could you please share some of your experiences handling a tough project or the most challenging project and how you overcame those challenges? Also, how would you deal with difficult team members who don't meet deadlines? Thank you very much.
Okay, that is very actually you are answering my question with your question. The toughest one is dealing with people. Until today, I'm not really good at dealing with people, and our previous keynote speaker just now actually gave me some tips on how to handle people by communicating them with a different tone. I had to practice that. So basically, the hardest thing to do is dealing with people. For example, in a project, you might have people with creative ideas who are designers. On the other hand, you have people with logics who are developers. And on the other hand, you have the boss with the money, and every day he will be asking you, okay, what's the progress? What's the progress? And all, micromanage people. So you have the hard part is to deal with different people with different way of communicating with them personally, right? With one person, you have to always pujuk rayu, like talking politely, talking softly, not to make him or her feel offended. Another person, you have to really fight like a debate, but it's actually friend thing. After the debate and argument, you go for teh-tarik. There's no issue. So different people have different way. Therefore, one of the most important skills among project managers are interpersonal skills and communication skills. You cannot run away from that. I hope I answered the question. How I deal with it? The answer is somewhere along that line, but even I still have that problem today because every project is unique and you are teamed up with different people every time. All right.
Okay, next question would be from Rain Palamores asking, is there any non-chargeable project management tool that I can be familiar with?
Okay, you can try online, but mostly a free trial. If you want a totally free, using your own Microsoft Excel and all, you can create your own template. I normally create my own template to make it faster, because if I start purchasing here and there, then I start forgetting my password, it will be a much more problem for me. I have no experience in purchasing project management software yet. I always try and error, free trial. Sorry about that. I can't really answer directly.
Okay, last question for today would be, can we use OPPM, which is one-page project management?
One-page project management. Wow. Like I said, if you believe in one-page project management, which means that is your master file. It has to be linked with something else. You cannot run away with everything else. Okay? Yes, when you talk about that, I actually do that. But it's my personal thing, my personal project. I have everything in one page. But in real life, if the project is big, definitely you can't run away from multiple things. And everything is interlinked. So if you say one page, definitely the back end, there's a lot of links behind. All right?
Okay, it seems like we have received like 2 more questions. So is it okay if I ask around 2 more? Okay. So there is a question from Hisham Abdul Muttalib. Doctor, which is the highest priority? Is it the risk or the time?
High priority. Okay. Some people put time as the risk. Risk is risk, yeah. Time is time. And yes, in the industry, they look at time. But you have to really look, the priority has to be the risk, because you do not want to have any possibility of hiccups in your project. So you have to really spend time to look at the risk and analyze them. There are tools for risk analysis as well. And I can't go through that today too much.
Okay, thank you. So our really last question for the day. So the sender named Fun Boyni said that thank you for your inspirational sharing. I would like to ask about the stakeholder satisfaction.
Okay.
For example, the conflict between sponsorship, provide budget and ask for profit, and local people affected in living activities such as traffic. When do construction of bridge? Whose stakeholders should be prioritized? Thank you.
Which stakeholders should be prioritized? Can I know again? Who's the name again? Can I read the question? Sorry, the question was too long. I couldn't really get the gist.
I'll copy paste and send it to you. It's okay.
Okay. Different between. Wow. What is the difference between? Okay. Thank you for sharing it. Okay. Stakeholder information, for example, the conflict between sponsorship and local people. Okay. Who stakeholder should be prioritized? Oh, okay. All right. You have to look at who will benefit the most and who will affect the project in terms of risk. If it's going to affect the local people, you have to really. Sorry lah, I'm actually very humane person. Yeah? I always go for the people, so I always learn to understand their pain and try to communicate with the funder, with the sponsor. But then again, it's really up to you, because this is already about your conscience. And if the sponsor is very keen, very aggressive about implementing a certain project which affects people, then if you feel that you don't want to be in the middle of the whole thing, to be in trouble of the whole thing, for me, back it off, right? But I know this is not a good, it doesn't give you any benefit. But then again, I will always look at the people, because at the end of the day, whatever construction or whatever project is going on, it will affect them. It will affect their living. It will affect their satisfaction. If they suddenly go on riot, it will affect your project. At the end of the day, you will lose as well. Okay? Quite a lot of questions.
Thank you very much. Okay, would you like to answer some more questions?
Okay, just now somebody re-asked whether every tools are chargeable. Most that I know of are chargeable, unless you are the individual user. You might have a different, a free or a lower rate. But if you work in group, usually most of them are chargeable. Okay. Let me one more lah. Okay. Because in some book, time, cost, quality, and scope are even mentioned. Oh, okay. All right. What are the difference between scope and quality in the triple constraint? Okay. The old concept was quality, and then they changed to scope. Some books say scope, some books say quality, compared to time and cost. But in my opinion, when you say scope, you include the quality in that, so that it will be 2 in 1. All right, because quality is definitely number one. Because when you close the project, you're definitely one of the things that you need to close is the satisfaction agreement from the client, from the customer, from the user. So definitely quality satisfaction is a must. So you have to have that in the triple constraint. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, familiar. Okay, I think that's it. You can find me in LinkedIn. You can search for me, Sharinas Ismail. I'm there. Yeah, you can find me in LinkedIn. So I can always entertain you there. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Sharinas Ismail, for the very interesting presentation and talk. Now, let us all take a last picture together for a moment. I would like to invite Mr. Zahrul to take over the photo shooting session.
All right, thank you, Jessima. So let's take another group photo with the honorable speakers and the attendees. I hope this will be the most beautiful one. So please switch on your camera before I proceed. Please be ready. I will be counting from 3 to 1. All right, I'm counting now. 3, 2, 1. Please keep calm until I say done. Please keep smiling. All right, thank you. I have captured all the beautiful smiles. So now I will pass to the MC.
Thank you again to Associate Professor Dr. Sharinas Ismail and Mr. Zahrul for the photo shooting session. I hope our audience will make use of every beneficial knowledge that we had learned from the workshop today. Dear participants, I would like to remind all of you to fill in the feedback and attendance form that will be shared shortly in the chat box. Okay. Also, dear participants, I regret to inform you that one of our keynote speakers, Dr. Shebah Ramirat, the Vice President of Climate and Resilience at Quanta Technology, was not able to join us for her talk due to some technical issues. We are planning to invite her in our future events, so stay tuned with us. We are now moving to the end of our first day event. Thank you so much to all of our speakers, presenters, and participants. I would like to remind our participants not to forget our Day 2 program, which would be at the same time at 2 p.m. tomorrow, with interesting topics such as technology and society, how technology impacted our quality of life by engineer, professional technologist Fauzi Abdullah, and a panel discussion regarding professional upskills post-pandemic. Please give a follow to IEEE Young Professionals Malaysia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Telegram, LinkedIn, and Clubhouse. Just type in IEEE YP Malaysia. Also, do connect with me on LinkedIn. Just type in Jessima Alia binti Ramli. With that, I, Jessima Alia binti Ramli from University of Technology Malaysia, signing off from Day 1, IEEE Young Professionals UpSkill 2021. On behalf of the organizing team, we would like to apologize for any flaws during the event, and we hope you enjoyed your time with us. Thank you, and see you guys tomorrow.
Hi, do you know why we should engage with IEEE Young Professionals early in our career? Well, what is IEEE Young Professionals and how can it help us? IEEE